could sit here and read live commercials and just make tons of money for the company. I could tell you the same thing over and over again.
I can't be tagged as the guy who's a dick.
They must be so jealous of me. I'm so successful, and they're just kind of not. You know what I mean? I feel the jealousy. That's why I don't leave my house. Don't you also sort of harbor some resentment, even though it's not logical, but you resent your baby for being in the way of your career?
Because we don't want the Japs anymore, man.
Because I want respect.
Some people say our show was the first reality show. I don't think there's one thing I've ever said on the radio that would have been found indecent or obscene. The secret to my show is honesty, reality. That I will say the truth. Guess who?
Take a bow, sir. That was fantastic. I saw the raw finishing product, but how long? That's about 1:20, right?
Yeah.
How long did that take you to put together?
The music was the longest. Yeah. That was the music took longer.
Don't be humble.
I don't know.
Don't play this.
Okay, let's say. Okay, if you want to get into it, all right. Let's talk about it. So the collection of images for the visuals and video, and then repurposing, and then green screen, and then I don't know, maybe like 5 hours, and then the music maybe 10. Yeah.
You're such a tortured artist. I was saying this to Sarah. You must have fucking texted me about 100 times over and you just like, I gotta finish. We gotta move it. And I'm like, all right, I get it. Nobody knows melancholy, StreamYard melancholy more than me. That's a good title of the song, by the way. Smashing Pumpkins.
That does
sound
like a
I
song.
said, do your thing. I'm not gonna. We're having fun here. That's so. Boy, it paid off. That was great. A+.
I'll tell you what I had to do. I'm going to get into it now. You've opened the can of worms. What I had to do is get an old laptop I have, and it had Windows 7 on it, and I was like, no, that's too late. I want the aesthetic, because it's Lotus Notes. I want the aesthetics here. I want to go back to Windows XP. So I had to download Windows XP, then load it onto this laptop, right? And then go through the whole installation process. Then get a screen capture software that runs on Windows XP and load that on, and then make that, and then screen record me moving the mouse across and then clicking the Deppening, and then screen record that, then convert all of that and then bring it back to the Mac and everything. So that pissed me right off, because I'm actually loading Windows XP and it asks for a serial number like it always did. And I was putting in serial numbers and they wouldn't work. So I could not get the bloody Windows XP to work. And anyway, it was just the version I had, but I fixed. So that's hours of just getting that. So it's just crazy what you do for this stuff, and you know that so well.
Yeah.
And yeah, the last week, I said to John, I was missing elements like that, and I was struggling to try and work out because I didn't want to put any images of Howard in there. I'm bored of seeing that.
Right.
I didn't want to put pictures of fucking Beth or stuff like that. So
yeah, I'm Beth.
I was looking for something. Then I came the idea of Howard's favorite nutrient, so to speak, as Elliot often would have said, is cash. And once I came on cash, so there you go. Maybe 15 hours, but you just get lost in it. As you know, as you just said to me like half an hour ago, you click your fingers and 6 hours have gone. And you've been staring at the screen. It's crazy what we do. For you guys out there listening, this is all for you.
I thought I was going to get a nap in. And by nap, I got to have an hour and a half or 2 hours. I got to wake up, and it went from... I got up earlier than I normally do, like some plebeian, like some farmer. I got up at like 9 a.m. and it went from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. in what felt like 5 minutes.
Oh, it's an awful feeling.
Yeah, it
It's
is a
an
horrible
off.
feeling.
It's a great feeling when you don't have to do a show 30 minutes later. Like you just go, "I'm gonna have dinner now," and I feel very satisfied, John.
Yeah.
The satisfied feeling. But when you finish it and then you go, "Okay, I've got to go to the toilet, and I'm gonna make a big drink and a coffee, and then I got to go live." You just go, "Oh God." But this is. Are we live right now?
You're
I
live,
can't.
yes.
I think we're telling everybody this story that might be. Is everyone enjoying this story? Leave a comment if you like
First of all, let me
a
say
behind the scenes story. That's what this was. And mention if you're going to leave a comment tell us about your thoughts on our behind the scenes story. Go, Johnny.
First of all, can I say thank you to the Sunflower Dragon? Instantly iconic Mr. Jovial. She actually
Oh,
was instrumental. She's a fantastic research person, and she found something like really quick that probably saved me a great deal of time. So a couple things, in fact. So great broad,
broad. I knew that was coming. I was about to say, are we going to
great
give this
Canuck,
woman the broad moniker?
great
We're
Canuck
going to
broad.
say she's a.
Little Dephead, what are you doing here? You up past your little bedtime. Little Dephead is part of the Deppening family. Welcome, Little Dephead. Gee, I did
Yeah,
not
you
expect you to see you here. I'll try to
do the
crowbar
roll
Dep
call
reference.
because I'm just going to check the levels. You do the roll call for a few minutes because we got the whole gang here. We got the
Okay,
Autobot who we all thought was AI, but it's apparently Al. It's
right.
not AI, it's Al. And if you say AI, he's going to go, "It's not AI. I'm a truck driver from Tennessee, and my name's Al."
Oh, he's from
Uh,
Seattle. He's
all
from
right.
Seattle.
Well,
He's from Grungeland. A cool dude. We have all the same interests. He's from.
is it
We're gonna.
raining there right now?
Of
That's
course
the
it is.
question I'm asking that man.
We're gonna go on a Jump Street tour in Vancouver. Because he's very close. I swear to God, that's in
Oh,
the
no.
hopper.
I would
Welcome, A.
love that.
Smith. Welcome, A. Smith. Yes, Alec Baldwin. That trial is almost. They did pick the jury today, so I am going to be live streaming the Alec Baldwin trial. I'm not sure. It's supposed to start in the next few days, and I'm hoping I could just get a day off tomorrow. I don't want it to start tomorrow. I want it to start. What? I don't know what day of week it is. I really don't. I want it to start Thursday. I'll do it tomorrow. I just don't want it to start tomorrow. I'm not into. I just need a day to with this horrible pipes of mine. Philly 29, welcome, sir. You are a mensch. You are the best. You are benevolent. You are a lifeline when I needed it most. I'm always in a Philly mood. The Frank the Tank, welcome, Sarah. Can I transfer your arm payment? Hate mass. Can I transfer you and arm my payment? I hate giving mass companies. I get it, A. Smith. And that reminds me, Frank the Tank, I got to play this because Sarah's going to kill me if I don't. I recorded this as well today. And I think it goes I'll actually have it in the friggin' brand now. Here we go. I got to, unfortunately, Frank, I got to take your damn comment down because this stupid thing has to play. I haven't even done the announce. Can I do an announce? Can I do an announce? What did I just do with it? Did I? Here we go. Vinny, it's Mark. Dearest viewers, a new month and a new show. If able, please donate to the Arm Fund, which is how your host gets paid. Super Chat, Venmo, Cash App, or memberships. It all counts. We'll all go. Now put your face in the buttermilk and take a sip. Oh, I love the knee. Welcome to a new arm venture. How do you keep the music playing? How do you make it last? How do you keep the song from playing too fast? Thank you, everyone. Mark Harris will be back later.
Wow.
Do you know that? Do you know
I
Mark
love
Harris
that.
singing that James Ingram
Nah,
song? Yeah,
I
it's the
don't.
best.
But I mean,
We
yeah, I love that. I love that. Thank you.
Speaking of Mark Harris, David is going to be in rotation with us as often as we can have him. He is he's not just a mensch, he is a light, he is comfort, he is a wit, he is the best, he is a talent, and he is gonna be third mic. Sarah who is moves in very mysterious ways, is also going to be on whenever she damn well feels like it. She's going to be playing the Barbara
Really?
Gordon role. Yeah. And
Hi,
she's
cutie.
not.
I love you.
You thought that was her, didn't you? For a
I-
moment,
for a second I did. You get me every.
Yeah.
That's how
How
good
did
you
she
are.
get it?
You are simply the best at drops. It's
Wow.
not even close. It's not an opinion. It's now a fact. It is a certified. You are the best at drops. People's favorite moment is if I'm actually talking to a drop and I'm fooled by it. That's how good you are.
It's been so much fun.
I don't give a flying monkey shit if Johnny Depp sues me.
See, she's ferocious too, isn't she? She's.
There's
Yeah, I mean, I've been
character.
doing the drops for years, so you do. It takes the timing's the hardest to trying to wait until there's going to be a pause, and sometimes you blow it bad. I've blown it. I've pulled back on the drops because sometimes I've blown it so much that
Don't pull
I have
back.
to
People love 'em.
apologize.
Your timing is impeccable. Don't listen to it. Your timing is great. You're too tough on yourself. It is phenomenal. Don't
It's
stop.
hard when there's 3 or 4 people because everybody's going for it. So you get anxiety basically as I'm
Right.
about to press the button. I'm like, I need to take another antidepressant. I'm freaking out.
To give you how much Fred has dropped behind Bon Jovial, and like he's not even second. He's just so off. He's not even close. We texted each other and we were coming up with drops in 30 seconds. He had already passed Fred by. In 30 seconds, we just go, hey, do the Pelican Reef and blah, blah. And Fred hasn't had a new drop in 20 years. That's how easy it is.
I mean, yeah, well, he can't play. If he could play clips of Robin and Howard, it'd be incredible. He'd
But
be a
Bon,
drop
anything.
machine.
Even
He
if
could
you had to
destroy them.
Even if you had to not include them, anything. He's so creatively bankrupt. It's scary how much money that guy makes and how little he does. All he's got to do, he could be watching TV at home and go, hey, that's funny. Let me get that. That's all he's got to do. He doesn't do shit. It's unbelievable how bankrupt he is.
And he doesn't have to. That's the best part for him as a guy. Like he gets paid. He must be getting paid $1 million or $2 million a year for nothing.
No, I think 5. I think he's up. I've deduced he's at 5. He's got Buckwald as an agent, no doubt.
So Robin's getting 10.
Robin's getting 8 figures. Yes.
Oh, that makes you feel bad. It makes me sad, really sad.
If anyone follows comic books, Bon, I know you're not the biggest comic book fan, but
no,
I know you know Batman. I know you know Batman, right?
I'll tell you what. When I was a kid, I did collect the Spawn comics.
Yeah,
Todd
I know Spawn.
McFarlane. I had one. Like the first 10 comics, and I had you're going to love what I'm about to say. I had the Spider-Man comics that were written by McFarlane.
Yeah.
And Sub-City, I think they were called. They were like a little series of comics, and I had a bunch of them, and then I got rid of them. But the reason I liked them was because of collectability, not so much what I was reading. I was like, man, these are become very valuable, but those ones really didn't.
There's a storyline he did called The Assassination Plot, which I love. And Captain America's in it, and Sabretooth, and Paladin, and Silver Sable, and that's a great storyline. I always thought that should be made into like an animated movie.
I'm sure it's coming, John.
I've been pushing for it. Todd McFarlane's a good friend of mine, so this is what Sarah's doing behind the scenes. If anyone follows the Batman mythos, Barbara Gordon, who's Batgirl, Commissioner Gordon's daughter. I actually like Batgirl and Nightwing better than I do Batman. How's that for rebellious? How's that for counterculture? Huh?
I'm sure it is. Have we got some comic people in the chat who are going to tell it? Are they going to testify that what you're saying is accurate?
So Sarah has taken the role of Barbara Gordon behind the scenes on this for the most part as Oracle.
Oh, did his wife get involved in the whole storylines? Gordon's wife.
Oh, Commissioner Gordon's wife? Well, no. I mean, this is just, she's usually...
She had a subplot. Was she like a fight? Did she fight in the end?
No. You don't see the...
I'm sorry, I'm derailing right now. I'm going to stop talking and let you go with this.
Sarah is like Barbara Gordon with her own dad. Like it's like daddy's little girl kind of complex. And her dad's kind of a hero like Jim Gordon, tough old bird. But this is what Sarah kind of does behind the scenes. This is her kind of working.
Clayface, Livewire, and Mist were all discovered to have Hatter's nanotech in their systems. And it cost him, because I anonymously forwarded the evidence we gathered to the authorities. Sounds like a match. Bedlam uses a substance called tar as a catalyst for turning abducted metagene kids into full-on metahumans. Halo's real name is Gabrielle Dow, 16 years old, Karaki refugee, was working as a servant in the Markovian royal palace.
So that's Sarah's role.
God. I'm laughing. I don't know who that person was, but
That's
play it
Barbara
again.
Gordon.
Can you play it again? What
Yeah.
she says at the start, that scientific wording. Play it again.
Clayface, Livewire, and Mist were all discovered to have Hatter's nanotech in their systems. And it cost him, because I anonymously forwarded the evidence we gathered to the authorities. Sounds like a match. Bedlam uses a substance called tar as a catalyst for turning abducted metagene kids into full-on metahumans.
Oh,
Was that 3? You like the third one the best?
had his nanotech.
Yeah,
Wow,
yeah.
the kids wouldn't understand that at all. But it sounds and it's so Sarah. It's just that she's talking too quickly. Sarah's a bit slower.
Yeah.
and drawl.
She can talk faster when she wants. She can speed it up when she wants. I've heard that.
when
and
she
she'll
gets
be on here.
ferocious. Yeah.
Welcome, Isabel. Welcome, Isabel. I was thinking this today in the shower that the ABC baseball, I remember a memory of the Orioles playing the Yankees and a summer day playing flashlight tag at night in July, and there was an Orioles Yankee game on. Jim Palmer did the color commentary with Al Michaels, and I know you remember that. There's Autobot. Welcome, sir.
What a beautiful day for a ball game. Let's play 2.
Little George Costanza. Nice, Bon. I didn't know you had that one. Very
I got
nice.
all kinds of stuff.
I can't wait to see it. I know you showed me the I want to say this too. Speaking of Sarah, speaking of Bon, speaking of David, I want to say to everybody in here, welcome first of all to Lotus Notes episode 1. And if you would, and I don't know if it came from you or Sarah or David, I know it came from one of you 3. If you would identify the race that you are. I think this was Sarah's idea. If you would, just to get a little diversity and see what we're working with race-wise, and I want to encourage diversity on this and rotate them in. If everybody would, you don't have to do it now. You can work your way up to it. You can just identify the race that you are. That would really help out a lot. And I think it was Sarah's idea, and she really insists that you do that. That'd be great. If you're half Asian, that's fine. You can indicate that. We don't have.
I'll indicate I'm Caucasian with ancestry that's Irish. It's crap. It's boring. See how much I suck.
Any lineage helps. We just
and I'm
wanna
pale. English and Australian's usually bad. And I had to get my teeth fixed a few years ago, so I've done a bit of Howard. I had a chopper that was really off angle, one of my front teeth. And the dentist last year said, we could fix that. And I was like, yeah, let's fix it. I probably would have scored a lot more when I was a teenager if I had that tooth fixed. It just looked a little funny. It's not off-colored or anything. It was just a bit funny, but now it looks fine. It's kind of like Anthony Kiedis'
Wait,
teeth.
no. I think you're
had
describing Whitey Bulger teeth.
Well,
Whitey Bulger has a tooth that's slightly off the front tooth. Like one's a little different than the other. That's my memory of him. I think that's Whitey Bulger teeth you're describing.
maybe Autobot is telling us he's Hispanic.
Oh, okay,
he gets
good.
mistaken for Caucasian a lot. Thanks, Autobot.
Okay. Like Louis the Bordoff.
That's the feedback you were looking for. Here we go. Jose Villatoro, he's Latino, but he gets mistaken for white Italian.
Welcome,
That's
Jose.
interesting.
Well, Jose's a new one. Welcome, Jose. Welcome to the Deppening Lotus Notes family. I have not seen Mr. Villataro in here. Have you? That's new. I'm usually pretty fastidious about the chat. I have not seen 62 Mexican, 25% English, 12.5% Spanish. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Wow. How do you get to percentages? And then how did you calculate the percentage? That's definitive is, I think, brilliant. Well done.
Welcome, Melvin. That's all about the tendrils. I'm amazed at the lifespan of the Deppening. Thank you, tendrils.
I was waiting for this comment. Oh, thank you very much.
Arm
Look at
is a
this.
genius,
Can we
straight
get
up.
complimented anymore, John, for what we do? John, I've got a question just for people listening. Tell them what Lotus Notes is if they don't know what it means.
Right. So Lotus Notes, actually, full disclosure, we were going to do a show just as a joke, as kind of like a inside baseball, ironic. We were going to do a show on Jeff Schick and Lotus Notes. Lotus Notes is an IBM program, which is basically a glorified instant messenger, which is like from the fucking 90s. And the Stern Show kept this thing on. Bon, what would you say, 20 years? I think they're still using it. It's an inter-office IM. And Howard would bring it up all the time. And I would be like, my father worked for IBM. This shit's Commodore 64 stuff. They're still using it. And I'm obsessed with Lotus Notes. And so I figured that name just hits right on so many ways. It's, it's going into the past, it's notes, it's all those things. And we were going to do a show on Jeff Schick and the origin of Lotus Notes. And Bon just wanted to do Howard and the move to Sirius and the hucksterism in CBS and that whole kind of CBS suing him. And I just went along with it because there's so much to grab on it. It's probably going to be 2 shows.
Yeah, the Jeff Schick show has to happen. That was a solid idea. Like,
I just thought it was funny
I was up for that as a contender for a first show because he's so. Howard used to throw that guy's name around. Oh my god, with Artie sitting there, and he'd just be like, "Have we? I talked to Jeff Schick the other day. Why isn't this working?" And he used to get milk. He got content from just going on about Jeff Schick for minutes.
And the guy is a super executive at IBM. You know how Howard has to do everything top shelf. He's always got to get the So he was like an assistant president. He was like vice president of something IBM. My dad worked for fucking IBM in Jericho his whole damn career. And I asked him every time I would see my father, I'm like, you know Jeff Schick? He's like, no, I don't fucking know Jeff Schick. Every time I would ask him about, it's a huge company. At the time, it was like a massive, of course he doesn't know Jeff Schick, but I would not accept it. And it was on the LIE. You could see it off the LIE and Jericho. Right off the LIE.
I love it that he brought up the name. Like, nobody knew. I didn't know who Jeff Schick was until I heard Stern talking about him at all. It's not even a name. He just loved to say it. And I did enjoy him talking about it. I just like, it's so strange that Howard gets this idea in his head of talking about someone like that. Like, it's extremely important. Like, he could have just said someone from IBM or someone. It's got to be a name. And he's always done that. He's been doing... It's fascinating. It's one of the fascinating things about him.
Now he brings up nobody. Now he won't give you anybody in his personal life. That's what's wrong with the show. You're not going to hear the name of a Jeff Schick anymore. You'll hear about Sarno, but the Jeff Schicks of the world will not. He has tech guys coming to his house now, hooking shit up. He's got 3 tech guys that is on the payroll. That's on the 112 payroll. You're not going to hear their names. No.
There's nothing. Nothing. It's just him and Robin. There's nothing. I mean, soon there won't be Gary. Won't be mentioned ever.
I know.
Won't be on the air.
Well, do you remember there was a stint we were doing the grind of that dumb daily show currently, and we'd gone like 2 years, and Jason Kaplan never came up, or Will Murray and Jason Kaplan both never came up.
And there you go. That's 2 guys. Jason Kaplan is responsible for some of the greatest Stern arguments. I mean, he was an absolute instigator, and they should have kept him busting people's balls like Ralph used to call in and just start shitting on everyone. 2 people that were excellent at shitting on people.
Well, as a favor to our friend Boff, who's done so many favors for me. By the way, Boff, I need some months in 98. 98's got a huge gap in May and June, and I need some of those shows. There's a lot of stuff about Howard's personal life in that. If you could find it.
Boff is this man, Boff. If everyone listening, it's BOFF. It's not TH Boff. It's Boff. And this guy never. He's so mercurial. He's behind the curtain. He's never in the live chat. I've never seen him in any live chat.
Yep.
And are you actually still talking to him, or is this retrospective? Like you just remember Boff?
No,
like, is he
I'm
still
not
living?
losing.
Is the
No,
question I think I'm asking you right now.
He's the master of the dark web, and almost
should-
any request he comes up with it. It's
He
crazy.
could host a show, couldn't he?
I asked
With
him
the
to come on.
knowledge.
He won't do it. He won't do it.
How do you rate him up to your stern knowledge? Is he pretty?
He's like David's age, 95.
Oh,
so he's like a
really?
younger, he's like a millennial. And it's impressive what he knew so as a favor to him, I promised him for years that we do a Jason and Will Murray show, and we're going to do it.
Oh, the Jason show. I mean, that'll be 2 shows of just Jason before you even
put them
get
together.
to Will.
We'll package them together like a team, like you did Sal and Richard or something like that.
And what happened to Sizzle Chest?
And this is classic Sizzle Chest.
We haven't seen Sizzle Chest for ages. Come into the chat, Sizzle Chest, if you're still living, please.
Is it possible that Sizzle Chest changes his name when he comes into the chat? Is that
transient mother? Yeah, transient mofo. Yeah, he doesn't need the limelight like Boff.
Right.
They don't need the celebration. We need to talk to David about how he got into Stern when he's on next time. A younger guy. I want to hear that from a younger guy.
I think it was his mom is Depp's age, so I think it was his parents.
Gotcha.
That bequeathed it on to him.
Because it's weird that when I think of younger people actually being interested in this, I'm like, I think we all got, we got dragged into it all. But a young person actually wanting to get involved in it is fascinating.
It is. And I don't know how anybody in today's day and age could be drawn to that show. I don't know. There's no way they are attracting new fans. There's not a shot in hell with young people, whether it's Gen Z or millennials, with all the options they have. Why on earth would you listen to the Contemporary Stern Show? Why?
Exactly. And someone in the chat's written something fantastic. All About the Tendrils has written Sizzle Chest for 8 hours, thanks to Bon John. When we broke Sizzle Chest as a drop that made, when you said classic Sizzle Chest three and a half years ago, I made an 8-hour video on my YouTube channel of just you saying, and this is classic Sizzle Chest.
I know.
And this is classic. For 8 hours, it's just a black screen. And I just said, saying classic Sizzle Chest for 8 hours. So that's what All the Tendrils is.
I fall asleep to it every night, Bon. Every night. To my own voice.
No, I've never heard anyone get the way you said that with that energy.
And this is classic Sizzle Chest.
You were so passionate about to read what that person had written in the chat. I love it. But
it's one of the great names in internet history.
Oh, it was so funny. I was crying. I had to mute my mic for like 5 minutes. I just couldn't stop laughing at how it was so out of. It's so you are so unexpected. That's what I've always wanted to say to you. You can't put a label on you, John.
Oh wow, undefinable. It's a tremendous compliment. Yeah, it's not by design. That's a great compliment. Thank you very much. I know what you're saying. Sarah in the clock tower. That's a Birds of Prey reference, Autobot. I'm proud of you. That's Barbara Gordon is one of the Birds of Prey with Black Canary and Huntress, and that's a great reference, Autobot. My favorite female superhero is Black Canary, and I'm sure I'm not alone. I love me some Batgirl.
Is that going to be a movie? Is that coming?
She was in this horrible Birds of Prey movie, and they kind of blackwashed her, which was insulting to black people and white people and everybody else. And Captain Fuller was in the movie, Stephen Williams. So it's the worst. I think it's the worst DC movie that's ever been made. I think it's the worst, easily. It's a great concept, and they screwed it up like everything else in the DC cinematic universe. So I want to make an announcement about future show. Because this is for everybody here, and I will clean it up if you don't want to participate performance-wise, meaning I'm here to announce that one of the things that annoyed me the most about the Stern Sirius stint is they do all the roasts, right? They did Artie, they did Ralph, they did Ronnie, they did Andy fucking Dick, they did Gary, they did, I'm forgetting one. There's one I'm forgetting. Artie, Gary, Ronnie, Ralph, Daniel
What's the
Carver, and you
that
did.
was?
Okay.
No, I think you got them all. I was thinking, yeah, yep,
And they stop
yes,
right there.
yes.
So what are we missing?
What are you saying? Why did they stop doing them?
Well, I mean, because the Buckwall Troika was coming up, right? And you can't do Howard, Fred, and Robin. It mysteriously all stopped
Oh yeah,
when it got
people
to
were
them.
getting. I guess they were getting too offended. People couldn't
Right.
take it. Yep. Maybe
So
it
I'm
was
here.
maybe the Gary one was one of the last ones because of the Sal doing the horse stuff might have really put the
I can't remember
annoyance
if the
for Howard.
Gary was last or Artie was last. I think you're right. I think it was Gary was the last one, and they were good. The Gary and the Artie ones were the strongest ones, easily.
Oh,
And
I loved that
yeah,
how bad they were. You get Shuley up each time, just bombing. Oh my god, that was the
Autobot.
funniest.
That's a really good idea, right? Richard and Sal, and I kind of have them on the back burner, but I want to get to the big ones before, in case we all just drop dead.
Oh no, no, but Al is saying that they never did them.
No, I know. I want to do Richard and Sal, but not as a priority. That'll be like in the back burner. So what I want to do, and I think, and we all agree, I want to do a Howard, Fred, Robin, Benji, and Richard and Sal roast, and Marcy Turk,
And we'll do sets, is what
and
you're
sets.
saying.
Right.
We'll
So what
do
I'm
a
saying
set.
is, I want anybody who wants to. You don't have to perform live. You don't. What I'm going to ask you to do is record yourself doing, I don't know,
Yes.
anywhere between 1 and 5 minutes, almost similar to the meanest listener kind of deal. And
Yeah.
yes, Sarah, you may be on the next episode. Is she asking me, or is she
Aw.
demanding that she be?
I don't know why she's asking. She's the Marcy Turk of this show, everybody.
Yes, Brendan, you're getting homework assignments now. You're in period 8 pig with fucking Capel.
I'm going to retract that because she's not the Marcy Turk of this show. She's going to get very pissed with me for saying that.
That's a compliment, though. Marcy wishes she was Sarah. How about that?
That sounds good.
Yeah.
I'm sure Sarah is more attractive than Marcy when she takes off
Easily.
that face mask. Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to ask you to record yourself doing a roast, 1 to 5 minutes, whatever. If you don't want to do it, if you're performance shy, if you don't like attention, if you just don't like doing that shit, if you have no interest in that style of, I will do it for you. So you can write me your
Yes.
material and I will say it for you and I will give you the credit in terms of the reward that we give out. But I would like people to do it. I mean, I think it's easier to do it. You get to do it over again. Like if you fuck up, you just re-record it. You don't have to do it. Take 40 takes if you want. Chop it up, edit it up, whatever. You don't even have to do like a classic stand-up roast. You could sing a song. You could whatever. Send it, and we will do for each one of these people. And I want to say this, and I'm not telling you what to do, and I'm not telling you what material to do, but I want an emphasis on the red flag list. So if it's Howard,
Yeah.
we want his daughters. We want Marcy.
Yes.
We want his private life. Whatever we can do, whatever is on the red flag. We want Allison Stern, for Christ's sake. She's got to be prime material. And we love Allison, but she's got to be worked in. So whatever is on the unmentionable red flag list, Howard TV, all the people, Chauncey, Crazy Cabby. Chauncey's a big part of this one today, by the way. He's a really, really good grilling of Howard. Yeah, it's like the meanest listener, Melvin. But it's going to be a roast of individual people in the same. So we'll do like the Howard roast, and it'll just be. And again, when you do your roast, you could hit other people in the roast, but finish it on the subject. So I think that'll be really good. It's on my bucket list was to do this on Radio Gunk. Like I kept suggesting it and it just never got done. And I just swore I'd find some real estate and some bucket list to do this because I think it'll be real. I don't care if it's the funniest thing in the world or whatever. We tried, and I think it'll be good.
I'll make it funny. I'll
That's
edit
what I'm saying.
and I'll edit applause into the background after each line, each little bit, so it won't be like they're trying to make jokes and then there's just silence with us going, great, great.
No, yes, we were
I'll
going to
put
pipe
some
in, right?
applause in the background. I won't leave them hanging unless they are, someone I don't like.
You know how when you're watching like some shitty sitcom, like Big Bang Theory, you're going, "What? Who's laughing at that?" We're gonna put in
Oh,
Big Bang
yeah.
Theory level fucking laugh tracks in this, and I'm sure you're not gonna need it, but that's fine.
Yeah, we'll put in some stuff. Well, I'm not putting a
Yeah,
if it's
whatever
necessary.
spices it up. I don't give a shit how canned it sounds. I don't get. I really don't. I'm just grateful that you tried anything. Believe me, we'll clean it up. Believe me. Yes, Melvin. Melvin, thank you, Melvin. So Bon, you remember when I had the meanest listener series on my YouTube channel, and it was like they
You
kept
had
blocking it.
everything. Yeah,
That was how Melvin found us.
I love
'Cause
that.
that took me so long to get that. God damn it! I went through every moment of like O2 looking for shit. It was so crazy how
We
long
did
that took
that
me.
for the first Shuli
Yes.
show. We dove into, and yeah, and there was so much stuff. And if you chronologically put up hours of that then, because it was
It
playing the meanest
was
listener, and then they all
hours.
talked about it. Wow, and then it all got removed because
Then it
of
got blocked, and then I
stuttering
had to
John
edit around
Melendez,
it, and then I had to.
and
Thank
then
you,
that
Sarah.
prick.
Thank you for cannibalizing and donating to yourself. Thank you, Sarah. But nothing better than
Sarah
you two.
donated. See, look at that.
Nothing better than you two. It's just my opinion. It's not
Oh,
going to
I
be just
love.
us two, though. We're going to have a lot of. And
I don't know how she could bring herself to come on, because the last time she was on a radio when I dragged her kicking and screaming on,
Yep.
she said, "I'll never come on again," and she said that so viciously. I will never come on again.
Everyone, this is crazy. Look at crazy. The return of Crazy Robin. Look at this, Spawn. The
Oh,
return of
look at
Crazy
this.
Robin. We love Crazy Robin. We hope everything's going great with her. She is doing the Lord's work as a social worker in California. I have asked her to contact Allison Stern
Oh,
and
God.
Deborah Stern, who are both social workers. Deborah is in California. There's no reason Crazy
Why
Robin
she
can't
couldn't?
look her. Yeah, get her.
Yeah, and get her on this show. I'll pay. How much would you pay for Oh man, while we're talking about the kids, John, Emily Stern dropped a video about 5 or 10 hours ago that is her Sergeant Pepper's. You know how much I
How
love
did you
this woman.
replace me? How did you replace me as the Emily Stern zealot? It seems like you're the Emily Stern aficionado now.
Yeah, everybody.
Feels like that.
Part of it was because I just felt that she got shat on so much by everybody that I just found it absolutely fascinating. And this video, man, she's roped in some friends and she's made like a Bohemian Rhapsody. John, I'm talking. I've never seen something like this from her. She's using video editing, compositing, and they're making speeches. Her friends have filmed speech. It's next show we'll have to do. Maybe I need a little Emily Stern segment on these shows. Maybe just 5 minutes where I can
definitely.
because
That's a given.
she's cranking out the content now, like once a week or fortnight. There's videos coming out with her doing a bizarre little strumming and singing.
That's a lock. An Emily Stern segment is a lock. Definitely.
We need a name for that segment.
Make sure I don't forget it. Make sure I don't forget it.
Well,
do an intro and everything. Make sure I don't forget it.
And let's have the listeners, everyone listening now, if you can come up with a title for my Emily Stern segment, it needs something snappy, John. You know what I mean? Like you come up with Lotus Notes, you come up with the Deppening, you come up with Wino Forever. You've got all this talent, you know. And I need a title for that segment. I need people in the chat going, "When is Bon doing the segment?"
Right.
And they'll just be chanting. You know what I mean? Like they'll be saying, "We came on, great, we're here, but when is Bon doing the segment? When the Autobot's gone, I'm driving my truck through Wisconsin right now, and I want to know when the Emily Stern segment."
What was that?
I know.
I went. You're gonna do a drop of yourself right now doing that.
I know.
In fact, wasn't Mr. Depp saying pretty horrible things to Ms. Heard? Like, get fucked on set, get fucked with fucking James fucking Franco? Did you hear that?
You can answer that, or should I?
Elaine Bredehoft, everyone, the lawyer of Amber Heard in Fairfax.
What an amazing woman.
I know.
Who probably might have been a competent lawyer, but now is just hopefully
I
out
don't
of
think she's
work.
ever going to work
She
again.
was
Yeah, I don't think she's ever going to work
woman.
again.
She didn't even know that she had to press the button on the microphone to talk. That judge had to tell her over and over and over again, you have to press the button before you talk. It was excruciating, John, and you sat through all of it.
I mean, I almost felt sorry for her at a certain point because it was so. I mean, my dream scenario would be them to switch legal teams. Depp gets Bredehoft and Rottenborn, and Amber Heard gets Ben Chu and Camille Vasquez, and see how it goes.
Yeah.
Seriously, that would be the ultimate. It would be great. Depp's charisma goes against the worst lawyers. You know what I mean? It would
Exactly.
be the best lawyers. I mean, that's how that would go. Lauren Marie, I want to say hi to Lauren Marie, who we missed.
Great broad.
Yes,
A great
broad. Great New York State broad. I don't have it in me to say mean stuff about anyone. I'll try, Lauren. I know you don't, but just try. Just try. You know what? I think it would be funny, Lauren, if you didn't say mean stuff. Just do whatever you want, and we'll read it, and it'll be like super nice.
Yeah, I want to hear this broad's
It'll
voice.
be very funny if you
I wonder
don't
what
say
her voice sounds like, because I'm doing voices. I'm doing Autobot, and he's loving it in the chat. He's going, now I'm from Tennessee, Wisconsin. What's going on here? And I'm driving my truck, John. Stella.
Oh man, I think
See,
what?
I haven't been on the air much this year, so I'm just letting it all out right now, John. It's freaking 9:43 a.m. here in Australia, and I came on. I've got my energy. Everyone listening is tired. You've had a bloody long day. The stress of struggling through these debates, the presidential debates. Oh my God! Oh. And I'm like, I'm ready for the day, John.
Yep.
Have you ever heard me like this, John? Have you ever heard this passion?
I find myself converting penal colony time zones
I know.
more than I care about my own time zone now. Like I'm thinking in your fucking that's where I'm at.
On with the show, please. I'm sorry, but I need an Emily Stern segment title. That's what I've been trying to. I've been crowbarring for 10 minutes.
Let me put a bow on our goddamn roast stuff. So yes, everyone.
Yeah, man.
We're doing roast of Howard, Robin, Fred, Benji, Sal and Richard, and Marcy Turk at a certain point. I'm not sure how soon into this we're going to do it, but they're definitely doing it. It's not maybe. We're definitely doing it. It's on my bucket list to have done this on Radio Gunk, and we just never got to it. And I'd always pitch it, and it just never came around. It's an undertaking. Bond's technical skills, and Sarah, who did an amazing job on the Deppy Awards, will, I'm sure, contribute the technical stuff. And like I said, everybody contribute. You know, if you want, send in a roast from 1 to 5 minutes. If you're too camera shot, not camera shy, I just mean if you're just stage fright in any way and you don't want to perform, write it for me and I'll read it for you here, and you'll still get the credit for the whatever prize we to give out. But it'll be a lot of fun, and Bond will punch up the laughs. Do not, if CBS sitcoms can get laugh track, then so can we.
Yeah, I'll punch it up good. And John,
Jack, you'll punch it up, right?
You shouldn't have mentioned the Deppy Awards, because now I'm going to ask you a very serious question right now. I need serious music that I need to load in for and ask you a very serious question. Like, we did not get the Deppy Awards in late December last year. The question is, are we getting the second, the annual second, the very important second Deppy Awards this December? Are we getting them?
Yeah, I mean, I've mentioned it's a lot of work. I don't know if Sarah's into that. She could chip away, she
could chip away.
It was amazing what she did.
Getting that as a drop. She could chip away.
The crowd interstitial she did to match the jokes and the monologue were incredible. Incredible. There's Greco. What was that?
You just said Sarah.
Oh, yeah. So you're playing a drop of me talking to me now. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, I haven't done that before.
Yeah.
Sarah,
There's Tamara Francois. There's freaking Tam Fran. Welcome, Tam Fran. There's Gunga Din. I see you there. All right, Bon. Anything else? Let me play Mark Harris one more time. I'm sure Sarah wants me to do that.
Do it.
Yeah, Mark Harris is a huge part of we're going to be doing a Mark Harris series. David is we owe it to David for all the great things he's done for us. The Holly Robinson Pete cameo he got us is worth the Mark Harris alone.
Hey, John and Sarah, it's Holly Robinson Pete. How you doing?
I cannot tell you how often I have pleasured myself to that. I cannot tell you.
I can't. I know. I believe what you're saying, and I love it how she has to throw in the hyphenation, the Pete's. Like, don't say that for a cameo. Like, if I was buying a cameo, I'd say, I'm going to throw in $5 if you can just say Holly Robinson, because that's your name. Okay, that's your birth name.
Thank you, Cindy Lou Who. You're one of our favorite people, too. Thank you, Jose
the years
Villatar.
we've had with Cindy. Oh, my gosh. I was a young Rube John when I started podcasting, and she was there in the chat spurring me on.
Always.
Spurring me on.
The support. Always. No, it really keeps us going. Seriously. No matter what you need the great people in this chat to gas up your head, or you just shut down. It's the endorphin rush of it. When I was going through my downward spiral, the kind word, the G Canadas of the world, he's right here. Really, really prop me up. I'll always, it's one of those things you always remember. Like it's in my craw all the time.
And the emails that I sent you that you never replied to.
Oh, I read them, believe me.
I know you did.
Saved them in a folder and send them back to myself.
You have made my year with your return.
Thank you, Jose.
That's the truth.
I found your show. Stuttering John mentioned Radio Gunk and Mold. Yes, thank you, Jose. I think I do remember seeing him in one of those John comments. Thank you, Jose. That's really kind of you.
Oh, God, John mentioned
Look who's
Radio
here.
Gunk so much for a couple of years. My
God.
God.
It's Nick from the Deppening trial. Remember Nick? Remember I laughed for 10 minutes because he used the word roustabout to describe Depp's.
I cannot remember. Yeah. I'm not even going to lie this time.
I am. They do. They
Good on you, Nick. We love you. Hey, I'm giving you the high five down here in the freezing Australia. It's freezing here. It's winter.
They had Depp's property manager on, and he goes, Mr. Because can you describe what you do for a living, sir? He goes, I am a roustabout. He just whispered. A roustabout means.
Love that as a drop.
Well, you're from the penal colony, and there's a lot of crossover to England. A roustabout means like a common laborer. Like I
think it's a jack of all trades.
Yeah,
like let's get into it. If your fridge is making funny noises, if I know you and I'm down the road and you're going, my fridge sounds freaky, I'll be like, yeah, I got some tools. I've removed some stuff from a fridge, fixed it, or I've put a light bulb. I've replaced light bulbs. I'll come over in like an hour, and you get a 6-pack of beers, and we'll just fix the shit out of that fridge. And if you've
you're sober. I thought you're sober.
Well, it's not really happening. I'm not being me in this scenario, okay. John. Okay. I mean, I haven't had alcohol since 2018. I know you want me to come
I
off
always do.
If anyone wanted to fall off the wagon, it was a few episodes ago when you had a few beverages.
I'm drinking right now.
Wow.
I am. I have Mountain Dew, the 4th of July Mountain Dew. What's it called? Right here, the Liberty Chill Mountain Dew edition for the 4th of July with vodka and with Smirnoff.
I'm glad I don't drink now because I would at 9:50 a.m. I would be drinking, and that makes me feel very depressed. And I wouldn't be on this show because I would have gone on some rant and been removed from this show and every show because of what alcohol does to me. I'm not the same person. The monster, John. But
he's that monster. It's a Depp reference, the monster.
The monster, yeah. But the roustabout is is the jack of all trades. That's what I feel it is. But, you know, everyone has a different opinion. Roustabout might mean a bit of a troublemaker as well.
It sounds like it should be a troublemaker, but it means like a common laborer. It's a condescending term for someone who I think the biggest problem, and without getting very soapboxy here, is that we have this velvet rope of occupations we deem glamorous, and we got an ass whooping during the pandemic that the essential laborers were the most important people in the world. Do we need fashion designers or do we need retail people? We need retail people, right? Because we would die if those stores weren't open during the pandemic. We don't need
Did
more
you have a
fashion
toilet
designers.
paper shortage? Because we had a monster
Yes,
toilet
it was all
paper
about the toilet
shortage.
paper. Yes, for a while it was all about the toilet paper.
Absolutely bizarre that time, and we really didn't utilize that time. You and I mean, John, we should have been doing more podcasting. We should have.
Probably.
This should have existed back then.
Yeah, you're right.
because
That was the
would
time
have
to launch
perfect
it.
time.
You're
We
right.
could have been on 24/7. Just giving COVID updates. Imagine you and I, after 20 hours live, just non-stop for the hell of it for the first few days of the everybody freaking out. Would have
We
been
were gonna
crazy.
do
We
that-
would have been crazy.
We were going to do that on Gunk once, a Gunkathon, where we were just going to pop on a Saturday for 12 hours and just shoot the shit.
And
with the
isn't
chat.
that what Howard said when he went to Sirius?
Yeah, yes. I know.
See,
That's so part of this. It's so
rings true. It's yeah.
So we're gonna have to cobble together when we get an idea, because I think it was all about the tendrils. So do you have an idea for you? So yeah, definitely send it on. Absolutely. I was talking about the Richard streaking through the thing and that whole thing when he ripped the curtain open, and Howard getting, and then Sabian getting all freaked out, and the whole the lack of human resources with it. That makes for a show. That was a crazy thing when Richard fucking streaked through unsuspecting women not on their compound, and they didn't get fired. That told me right there they have absolutely zero accountability.
Yep. There's no HR there.
There's no
there's
for
nothing.
them. He has, and this is kind of what we're doing today. Bon, Crazy Robin thinks you're losing it, Bon.
Yeah. I've never been this unhinged. It's because
You love Unhinged. You love saying
it's
Unhinged.
because I've never been. This show is kind of just different. Like if I'm on the Deppening, I'm not going to do any of this kind of stuff. This is different. This is like a new show. This is going back, and we're going back to talking about Howard. We haven't done this for 6 months or so, talking about Howard.
Right.
I can't believe we're back on Howard again, but we are.
We're taking a very specific aspect of the show, probably retro, and we're going to fucking tear it apart. And I mean, we used to do that on Gunk all the time. That's initially how we started. My favorite shows are those shows where we would just take apart some kind of, old school thing, and the new stuff rots my brain. I can't hide it. I really feel myself getting stupider with the new stuff, and repeating myself in a way that's not acceptable anymore.
Well, it's like Howard said in the Lotus notes, this intro. He said I could tell you the same thing over and over again, and that's what he does every show. It's just a loop now.
Yeah, Brendan, Mark Harris, Dan the Song Parody Man, both well-known poonhounds, both gonna get shows. Dan has some underrated moments, actually. I know he's a poonhound, Brendan, but he's got some underrated moments.
And you met Dan, and you talked to him in a pub.
Yes.
And you
he
said
hosted a karaoke night on a Monday night in 06, and it was every Monday night, and he hosted it. Jim Brewer was there. Billy Mira hosted it. That guy, his name is Miratello. He took the tello off his name. I know him because my really good friend of mine, one of my best friends, Mike Ravatzis, played in a band with him, and he was the lead singer, and he was so uptight. He's too into like Ozzy and he has no like versatility. David Lee Roth and Ozzy over and over again. And he's a nice guy, but he's missing something. I can't explain it. He doesn't know how to goof around. He just didn't get it. And he was hosting it, and I would go there and I would sing fucking REM and Weezer and stuff.
Oh,
And
yeah.
there was a guy, and he's the best Axl Rose impressionist in the country. And he was
That's
there.
pretty good.
He was amazing. You could not tell. He did "You Should Be Mine" for
Yeah,
me.
yeah, yeah. You
Yeah,
have to be you have to be
he was
good to be able to do
incredible.
Axl Rose. Like, he's
Super
a good
nice guy.
singer.
Incredible. They had like musicians from like Iron Maiden, and that they don't tour anymore, so they just brought in, and they did a karaoke. So they played live music, and you would sing karaoke, and they had a playlist that they would give you.
Wow.
Yeah, it was
Really?
great. Yep.
And who
Dan
was the
did
other?
the booth. He was like in the DJ booth.
Yeah,
So
like
he did like
Scott the engineer.
right.
So, was he the MC? No, that would have been.
Bill Mira was the MC.
And it had the other comedian there that you just said, Jeff, was it? Or
Jim Brewer.
Jim.
Yeah.
I can't believe it had Jim there because he could probably do a lot better back then.
I had COVID vaccines at the time, and I was just sticking him with COVID vaccines and telling him to move to Florida. I'm just kidding. He's like a crazy he's like a crazy QAnon freak. He's a really nice guy, but he's
Oh
he's
no,
out
the
of his mind.
QAnons.
Yeah,
Well, should
he's
we get
insane.
on with the show? Are we going to start this show?
Yes. I was also.
But we're loving your comments, guys. You've
No, that's
there's
cool.
Some
That's
brilliant
cool. Old
comments
school
going
stuff.
on
That was
here.
06. That was, and it was fun. It was every Monday night at 9:30, and it was because the bar was like, there's no deader night than Monday night, not football season, and that's what
Oh, it
that's
must
what
be.
they use it for. Yeah.
Yeah, it must be impossible. And how
Okay.
much did Dan get paid? Probably what, $10 in alcohol?
I
Dan
couldn't.
would have got paid with beers, and he didn't give any of that money back to Artie. Artie never got the money back. And if anyone's wondering, I did find out that Dan only paid back Artie around $500.
Oh, you're upset. You're obsessed with Dan in the way that Brendan is. When I first met you, I couldn't believe how into Dan the Song Parody Man you were. I'm like, what is with this guy? And then it was funny because it was such an obscure person to be obsessed with. He literally, he's your favorite person ever on the show.
I got lampooned for trying to continue the Dan the Song Parody Man segment I think it was the Shuley. I had to cut it, and that really pissed me off because I had some great Dan. It was just because Dan was involved. Shuley was attacking Dan, and anyway, I was like, "This is great stuff." Yeah, I was getting told, why are we on Dan? Why? And I was like, "This is very important."
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know.
anyway.
He's part of so many feuds, and he was a writer for the show, and you didn't know that. He was complaining to me about Howard not giving him credit. I was drinking with him till like 4:30 in the morning,
Oh.
and he was crying about. He was telling me all the shit he wrote that Howard wouldn't give him credit for. It was,
Oh man, I wish I could have
Yeah.
been there. Oh,
if I had a smartphone at the time, I
Yeah,
would have
just-
recorded him. I would have done a Donnie Brasco on him.
your phone would have been boiling hot because you would have
Yes.
just had it left it recording all for hours. It would have been amazing, man. Imagine if you had that, because you've been around those people a few times. Imagine if you'd had the equipment back then to get some stuff together.
Crazy Freudian business. I mean, toilet paper. All right, Bon. So let's let me give my voice a rest and give everybody what we're doing with Howard's announcement to Sirius to the CBS lawsuit, if you would. Just a little bit of a composite summary about what we're doing with this and the money aspect and everything else.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I am the relay operator. Go ahead. Does anybody remember the relay operator from that Sal and Richard prank call? I actually like that prank call. Sarah sounds like the relay operator in that prank call, if anybody remembers that. Gamma Man, 69.
Bukkake sauce. That's what they say. It's all natural.
What was that?
It's a bit of tradio for you.
Oh,
Holy
okay,
shit.
okay. See if we can find the relay operator. We promised each other that we would not repeat any Fred drops. No Fred drops.
Oh,
Nothing.
no.
Yeah,
no.
no,
God,
I'm
no.
not going down that platitude road.
Yeah, I've got a whole tradio section of drops that I could go right into because a lot of people seem to hate the prank calls, but I thought they were brilliant. Most
Every
of them
once in a while,
too.
it's a good
I
one.
found all the Tradio attacks were hilarious. But yeah, this show, what we're doing, is the whole Howard going to Sirius, this whole huge shift for Howard and his
the infomercial that he promoted, and then getting shit from, and then getting sued, what all it led up to, the money grab, the bonuses. Before I go ahead, Bonham, why you just explain what, the aspect, if you would. I am going to get this document ready that I found about his bonus.
Yeah, well, he made a critical error. I'll bring it up. It's very small if you can zoom
How about
in.
this?
Yeah, that's great. Give
Is
us the lowdown on what we're looking at, Johnny boy.
Okay, this is the document of Sirius giving Howard his bonus document about what he has to get in order to get this, $225 million bonus. When he got not just the $100 million he got a year, on top of that, he got Howard TV. We never talk about Howard TV money. What do you think he got paid for Howard TV? No one else gets a dime. There's no the whole Actors Guild and Writers Guild gets torn limb from. Here's a fucking TV station, and nobody gets paid except for Howard.
What are you asking me? What he would get paid a year for it?
We speculate all the time on Howard TV. Nobody ever talks about it. Nobody brings it up. I'm saying $25 million a year off Howard TV, in addition to the radio $100 million, and then this bonus he got to go when he met his subscriber bonus to promote it for 2 years, year and a half.
Would Howard TV have come under SAG?
No, nothing comes under SAG with him.
Well,
Artie complained about it all the time. Artie's like, this. It's like being on a huge sitcom where only one person gets residuals.
Yeah, I'm thinking. And how much? Okay, how much did you pay for that back then? You paid for
it, didn't you? It was $12.99 a month.
That was just for Howard TV, or did that come along with?
It's the same price Netflix is now, and you would run out of options within a week.
Oh my god!
All goes to him. And I get the Howard TV crew, got a little something, but we know, right? I mean, Howard got 95% of whatever that was.
Well, they would get their wage, hourly or weekly, whatever wage, hourly, daily, whatever. Right. And then, see, this is a question that really needed to talk to Lee Gerowitz, who worked the producer.
And we have access to, we can ask these people. I'm sure even if they do it on the DL, Hughley, so at this document here, Securities and Exchange Commission, DC, you know what a financial zealot I am. I'm a regular Lou Dobbs over here. Satellite Sirius Radio. This is October of when he makes the announcement. This is exactly when, by the way, this is before the announcement. So this has already been sealed. This is October 1st, 2004. He's just about to make the announcement, I think a week after this. We have entered into the agreement with Howard. This guy right here, see the Section 801, other events. We have entered into an agreement with Howard Stern. I don't know how I found this. One of the most widely listened to radio and entertainment personalities in the United States. Pursuant to the agreement commencing on January 1st, 2006, the show actually started on the 9th, so he must have gotten paid that whole week. That's New Year's Day. Stern will move to a Sirius show, satellite radio from terrestrial radio, as part of a channel created by Stern. We also expect Stern to develop and produce. It's funny how in this harangue, not a single name but Howard's comes up with compensation.
And look at how we expect Howard to develop and produce one or more additional channels. It's just open. We expect one or more. They're not even saying 2, 3. It's just one or more.
Right out of the gate, he
puts
lies.
This together.
Right out of the gate, he lies and say they're going to be 3 channels, which never happened. Right. So for us during the agreement will expire on December 31st, 2010. So Artie's gone about a year from that. Do you remember the Paul McCartney concert Sirius had in Harlem? Ironically, with no black people at it. That happened right when that just in that kind of couple weeks before that. Our financial obligations under the agreement are material, consist of both fixed and incentive payments. These obligations are payable partly in cash and partly in shares of common stock. So his stock, this is crazy. We estimate that we will recoup our fixed obligations under the agreement when we acquire approximately 1 million incremental subscribers. This estimate is based upon a number of significant assumptions, which we believe to be reasonable, including the timing and costs of acquiring such subscribers and the length of time such individuals remain subscribers. Howard acquired those subscribers while he got paid on his own show on CBS Air, technically, whatever, Infinity, K-Rock. So he didn't do anything other than some promotion towards the end of that stint. Most of those subscribers came from using CBS's Air as an infomercial.
That's it.
Right. In addition, go ahead.
Continue. No, you're good.
In addition, if we achieve the incentive milestones contained in this agreement, we believe that the material positive effects on our business will far outweigh the related incentive payments. Our aggregate fixed obligations under the agreement are approximately $100 million a year. These costs include production and operating costs for the show, including compensation of the show, cast, and staff, overhead construction costs for a dedicated studio, and a budget for the development of additional programming and marketing concepts, and payments to Stern and his agent. We are obligated to make substantial. By the way, I also read in another document that every time Sirius pays for his drivers, this is on top of that. They pay for everything he does. I'm going to go as far to say that they now pay for him to go back and forth to Florida, that he doesn't actually pay for the private jet. That they actually, whenever he travels.
Yeah. I don't think he would. Yeah, it doesn't cross my mind that he would pay. Yeah, you're right, for sure.
His whole thing is we never pay. His whole credo and mantra is we never pay. We're never dipping into our. Every manager that he's ever worked for said that about him. I remember this story about a guy named he was the L.A. K-Roke, whatever the fuck it is. Jewish last name, I forget his name. He was the manager in the LA division. And he said Howard was so cheap he wouldn't buy bottled water and peanut butter in the green room. He made them pay for it. It's $7. Like he wouldn't even dip into for that.
What's the peanut butter for? For him to eat just on his own.
Kirkland bottled water. That was like, I don't know, it's like a breakfast kind of thing. I think he just said peanut butter as kind of a example of one of the things he would have. He wouldn't even pay for that. Like he argued with them about paying for stupid little continental breakfast shit in the green room and bottled fucking water. The guy makes $3,000 a minute, $4,000 a minute, and he wouldn't pony up for bottled fucking water. In addition,
you have to adjust your money. I think we talked about this a while ago. You need to adjust that for 3 days a week because you've been saying the 4,000 a minute for 5 days a week of work. I think so. You need to adjust for 3 now. So it's higher. It's probably 5,000-6,000 because he's only doing 3 days.
It just hit me. The guy's name is Jack Silver. I don't know why it just came back to me.
Is that a real name or is it a stage name?
No, it's a real. It might be the stage name, but as far as we knew, he was the program guy in LA. His name was Jack Silver. Like he was the Tom Chiusano of LA, basically.
These agreements are just bizarre because it's all up in the air. There's no facts. We estimate. We expect. You don't. It's fascinating to me. I wish we had a lawyer on here to just read this and say this is weird.
Howard has a team of retainer lawyers, which we never really see, but I do think we get a glimpse of them in the speech when he does the press conference that you wanted to get the most of all. And so I think there's a team of lawyers, but he doesn't bring them up by name. So we'll get that. That's later.
Yeah. Because it's Buchwald, isn't it, in that meeting next to him, and then there's 2 other people that we're going to see. Yeah, interesting.
We're also obligated to make substantial. He never mentions his lawyers' names. He never brings their names up. We're obligated to make substantial stock-based incentive payments under the agreement if we significantly exceed agreed upon the year-end subscriber targets during the term of agreement, or acquire material amounts of subscribers during the term directly and trackable through Stern's efforts. In addition, upon reaching an agreed upon a number of subscribers, we will share a portion of the revenue we derive directly from advertising on the Stern. So they're already admitting that they're going to advertise. Howard told everyone there's no commercials. In this fucking document, in October of 2004, they've already decided they're going to have commercials with them.
I hate to say this, but I think there might be a bit of Mandela effect. I think he did say, I'll take the breaks whenever I want
but
to,
it wasn't,
not
you
when I
know how
have
he
to.
laid that out. It wasn't, this is all built in. It's
obviously
not, he does nothing for free.
I wasn't like a listener then, but I guess you probably thought there's no need for commercials because we're paying. It's kind of like,
right. You're paying, right. HBO, that he always compares himself to HBO. Like, when I'm watching The Sopranos, I don't remember them going to a commercial break, but you do.
Yeah, like if he was in court and the lawyer said to him, do you think it's surprising that listeners felt that there would not be commercial breaks? And he had to say under oath, I think he'd say, no, it doesn't surprise me. I can see how they would. Yeah, the way he framed, you're right, but I think he used a little wordplay, but you're right. But that must have pissed you right off back then when, after the first hour of the show that you personally listened to live, you would have been going, this is great. And then he goes, okay, we're going to take a break. You must have gone, wait, we're taking a break?
I was disappointed before they started because I knew it was going to be new boss, same as I knew. As soon as he said, oh, we're going to stay in the morning, I'm like, okay, same show. I'm like, no, the new show is move it to the afternoon, get an energy, get a different vibe and shit. And he insisted on going to the morning. So you still have that morose bullshit that you got. If you wanted to punch Rush Limbaugh, who I despise, had a massively popular show. He was on in the afternoon. That whole morning drive thing, if you're going to replay it, who cares when you start it?
Yeah.
Start it in the afternoon. I wanted new energy. And when I found out he was staying in the morning, I was throwing up in my mouth.
So you were pretty cynical back then.
Oh yeah,
I thought that you weren't you a Kool-Aid man?
No.
On the Stern train. So okay, all right. But you were excited.
I wasn't like I am now.
About this.
I was getting more and more jaded and cynical as it went on. You know, there were times where every little, I don't know, every couple of months, I'm like, a new thing pissed me off, and then I just became a full-blown hater I would say 2007.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, man. And there was still a lot of good stuff happening on the show, but I guess to listen to the whole show each day, you had to sit through a lot of crap.
I hated him because all the no fun, the roast stop came from him. I knew the mandates. Anytime something, it's almost like a shitty, boss that just takes anything fun away. Or I knew that anything good, he'd be threatened by it and he'd be bitter.
And
the wrap-up show's better.
Everyone listening, what John is saying is that John was podcast ready 10 years before he started podcasting. He was ready to shit on Howard. I love
the idea for Radio Gunk. I threw that. That name I didn't want, but I was on Stern Fan Network begging people to do a podcast, and that's how that started. And then we moved to Dog Shed, and then we moved to Radio Gunk. But I think 2010, I was starting Threads. Let's do a podcast. Monique finally stepped up.
I've got a quick fan question. I think G Canada, that crazy Canadian guy, said a while ago that you never wanted to be known as John. You didn't want people to know your real name, but Monique and Grace just, they saying and then they'd say John and they go, oh, sorry. I mean, is that how it worked? You wanted to just be known as I believe.
I didn't care. I didn't care about my name. I was just like, it just was snappier. So it's like an internet name. And I do go, but I don't know. That nickname is just, I don't know why. I'm just drawn to it.
I love it. I call you the arm, the powerful arm, all the names I've given you.
It's kind of pompous and very pro wrestling at the same time. I don't know.
I'll read a bit more of this for you, John. I'll give you a break because I know you're running on You've been putting in the hours. We will
where are we
share a
here?
portion of the revenue we derive directly from advertising on the Stern channels and the revenue we derive from subscribers acquired during the term directly and trackably through Stern's efforts. We believe that our agreement with Stern will have a material positive benefit to our business, including a positive benefit on current awareness, blah, blah, blah. In the event we generate substantially fewer than 1 million subscribers, in excess of our current plans. See, these wordplay here. In excess of our current plans due to the addition of Stern to our programming lineup, the large fixed obligations and agreement with Stern could have a material negative impact on our financial condition and results of operation. Now, that is some lawyer speak.
That's telling stuff.
Wow.
You know, in there, right? He's saying Howard's ridiculously expensive, and if he doesn't deliver these subscribers, we're going to be bankrupt because we're paying this asshole too much. And it's basically saying he's a partner, which we will come on to. I don't know how.
Yeah, that's going to be a whole segment on the partner, because you gave me some revelations this week on the partnership, and now I'm willing to agree
No,
that
I don't even
all
want
of these years, John, that you have been arguing that he is a partner, you were actually correct.
Of course I'm correct. I'm not going to.
And you have been told many, many times a year that that's not true.
I don't know how many. I have less receipts at fucking Costco. I have
that's your
everything
biggest. That's like the Rosetta Stone, and you've been held down on that for years. You've been told that is not legally possible. That's what you've been told, John. And now you're standing on the top of the mountain with the scrolls and the tablets.
They have to. So the end of this is pursuant to the
back to the.
No, I just want to say this name. This name, I don't know this.
I am derailing this. I'm sorry.
I don't know this name, and. Melvin, can you look up Patrick Donnelly?
Yeah, Melvin, can you do something for us?
No, I'm just.
We got Fuji Vice in the house too. This troublemaker, I love this guy. He's an instigator. He'll throw you under. Yeah. So signatures pursuant to this is all just signatures. So this was signed. Look at this. Isn't it amazing that that lawyer thing? That's an act from 1934 that they're still running with. In the 2000s. Isn't it amazing?
Yeah.
That these acts stay as legislation for so long.
This permeates 20 years. Can you believe this shit's going on 20? I should say this too. We're kind of doing the 20-year anniversary right now of this announcement. It's 20 years. Can you believe that shit? He announced this 20 years ago. And I vividly remember the whole John Kerry, and he spent, all of 04 and some of 03. He suddenly, he's the biggest fucking badge bunny, stolen valor, armchair warrior, piece of shit, pussy. He wants to bomb every country in the Middle East and then turns on Bush immediately. And he's John Kerry's guy, and he's having Michael Moore on and Ronald Reagan Jr. for a year. He knew exactly. Bon, was it you or was it Sarah that said we tried to harken back to when he really? I think this plan goes back to like 03. I think he knew he was going to Sirius by 03. I think
Sarah would have said this. I would have no idea because I wasn't really around.
Yes, Johnny, bye. Welcome, sir. Hey, Johnny, I got a request before I forget for the Deppening. Paul Barisi, the slimy private investigator with the Burt Reynolds knockoff, no shirt motherfucker, Nazi piece of shit, came out with a book, and I'm going to need that with your sources, please, sir, because there's a lot of dirt in there. And
we need that, Johnny.
We need that book.
Johnny was on the other week, wasn't he?
Johnny Bye-Bye's, I don't know if people know, he's the best Depp contrarian ever, and he eviscerates, and we just love him, and he knows that I'll go along with it. Him and G Canada are the biggest Depp contrarians on the face of the earth.
I just remembered what you was saying just then, John. Yeah, when Howard knew he was going, I was talking to you last week and saying, I remember there's a clip of Howard back then, or even earlier, maybe 2002, he's talking to either a guest on the show who is with Sirius and Howard just says, I've often wondered, he's just musing, he says, I've often wondered what it'd be like on that kind of setup like Sirius, where you don't have to, and he says like, it's an interesting idea. And that was, so you,
Yeah,
it was
he
probably
teased
a
it
few
for well over.
years
Yeah,
before the
I had a clip.
announcement. So
I had a clip
yeah.
of him talking about XM in Washington D.C. and it's a year before, and it was so random. It made no sense, and he was teasing that he was going there. I can't find it right now. It's in some fucking hard drive I have, and I just didn't have time. I just took so much out of me. I will find it though eventually. All about
Someone
the
like
tendrils. What?
someone like Chauncey Hayden he might not be able to remember, but he probably would have known as well.
Yeah,
because he was
Chauncey's
so
all
close
over
to
this.
Howard.
Chauncey's stamp is all over this. Chauncey,
Yep.
we're going to be hearing from him soon.
Well,
on
if
this,
we could get him on, I
yeah.
think that'd be fantastic.
Grace was all about the tendrils. Said, okay, the revenue and subscribers angle. There had to be some kind of astronomical calculation possibilities. Yeah, and they're all punching that calculator all along. I used to work for Sony Pictures, and he was the Sony leak. All about the tendrils is the guy who leaked the email about Simon Cowell about Howard getting fired. It was
Are you
all
kidding?
about
That's him. Really?
Swear to God, yeah, that's him. And there had to be, so that's how that happened. Thank you all about the tendrils.
Oh man, you should be on this. Have you ever podcasted all about the tendrils? Because you should come on. Like seriously.
Yeah, I think he'd come on. He might come on. I don't know. He hasn't. I'm not going to put him on the spot.
Tell us if you'd be interested sometime all about the tendrils, because if you're working for Sony, man, that would be a fascinating discussion to have with you about all of this kind of stuff. What we're talking about here is big deals, a big deal where Howard, I mean, this agreement is unbelievable. It's fascinating.
It's a deal with the devil. It's like how the phrase "a deal with the devil" was conceived. That's exactly what that is. And he is the devil incarnate. I mean, the Howard's goal, before I forget, I'm sure I'll say this a million times and I'll say it again. His goal from the day Sirius came to him, or satellite radio, how can I work how can I do the least amount of radio, make the most money, and have zero accountability? That's the goal. And as the years went on, more money, less hours, less accountability. I'm never going to be blamed. He signed a deal with the devil. I'm never going to be blamed for anything, whether it's Richard and Sal streaking in a fucking Cosmo party or running Erica Durant's out of the studio. Howard cannot be blamed. And Sabian will act as the human shield. And he will get all the money. They won't be able to pay any other hosts. And he'll have and so he won't announce the vacations until he gets there. Then you realize he's working. I think initially he worked half the year, and now it's whatever that is, the number is 112 days or less than that. It's 80 something days. But the goal was from the day he started, how can I do the least amount of live radio? And the whole thing with the tapes, right? What happens to him if he doesn't get access to his old audio?
Yeah, he had to.
What does he do?
To have that audio.
So that was part of the lawsuit, right? And I believe Sirius paid that off. And if he'd have to program the two channels, he'd have to do live radio. And he knew he wasn't going to do that. So in order to get your archives, which were never available in the past, if you missed a show, it was gone forever. So he got those tapes, he brought them over, and his plan all along was, how can I do no live radio? And how can I pay as few people as possible so I keep the 100 million? That's the plan. The staff costs nothing. Let's say he pays Robin 10 million. He pays Fred 2 or 3 or 5. The rest of them, he's pocketing 85 million just off that. Then he gets a $223 million bonus when he signed with Sirius, which I have the article on that. Never got brought up. Like they never talked about it. In addition to the $100 million, and I'm not even including Howard TV.
Yes, because that's another 5 to 10 million a year.
Yes.
There you go. And All About the Tendrils says he will definitely love to come on this show to talk about the industry anytime.
Absolutely.
Get a mic, All About the Tendrils. You've probably got one if you're in that world, and we would love that. I would love to talk to you about all of that. But yeah, John, so you're saying that Howard said, I'll do 5 days for
He knew he was doing
5
4
years.
right at the beginning.
Yeah, and then I'm
He was
going to
gonna
pull it
tell us he was
back,
doing 5. Yeah.
and then 5 years later, I'm going to pull it back to 3 days and all of that kind of thing.
I forgot, and I have these clips saved in like in an old Radio Gunk folder. There were callers that were like, "Dude, I just read that you're only doing 4 days a week," and he busted him. He wanted to this fake alibi that he was doing 5, and they figured out. I think it was Opie that busted him, and they said he's only
Wow.
doing 4 days, and he would have you because he got his subscriber bonus. Once he got that bonus, all the secrets came out of what he wasn't going to do. All the lies were exposed as soon as he got that bonus.
I'll give him credit for. I don't know if Howard is intelligent enough to come up with this whole scheme.
Buchwald is.
Yeah, a 10 to 15 year plan it was to pull back as much as possible. And if Buchwald came up with it, it's brilliant and it worked. So you've got to give them credit. I'll give them credit.
It worked because we're all fucking lemmings, rubes that bought into it. And he knew that his fans would have done anything. And those days are over. But the real reason they were able to make that bonus, Artie Lang.
You're right, and you said to Artie, and I should have got a clip of it, but when you interviewed Artie, you gave him such a great compliment. You said that him being there was such a big thing, and Artie said to you that's probably the biggest compliment anyone's ever given me, and he wasn't joking. I think
I'm not joking either, because if Artie's not there, he's not making that bonus. And what did Artie get for the bonus?
Oh, nothing.
Fired. Well, not just fired, but won't return his phone calls. Howard is not coming close to that bonus. If he moves to Sirius, he's not getting that bonus without Artie.
Artie deserved to be fired by then. That was. I don't think they could have.
That's fine. That's fine. But he's not making the bonus without him.
When you're doing like violent acts in the studio, you've got to go. Like
that's fine. But it seems like there's no rules, right? If Richard can streak, Artie can throw CDs at people. Why not?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's an amazing moment because you see Howard off script after Artie's removed from the room. Howard comes on and says, "I'd like to apologize," and he's not messing around. He's a little weak man that Howard is inside, being honest for once, saying, "I've made a mistake. This is not." Yeah, but I mean, Artie became, Artie made Howard appear to be a cool guy because Howard could hang out with Artie and go to Artie's gigs, and that didn't. Once Artie's gone, you get the old Howard, just the hermit, like Letterman sort of thing.
He's the fans' favorite. He's the fans' favorite. That's the bottom line. Artie is the runaway favorite of the fans. So the guy who's the favorite, when they move to Sirius, if the favorite's not there, you're not going to subscribe to Sirius. And Howard gets all the money. Artie got zip. He got bupkis. He got nothing. He got not a bonus, nothing. He got not even like, hey, Artie, here's $200,000. Thanks for, and he has to be grateful that he does stand-up gigs.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it works. It works with your whole theory of it being pre-planned. Like maybe Buchwald and Howard didn't really expect a guy like Artie to hang around on that show for longer than 5 to 10 years, maybe. I
think you're right.
So they had that plan in place to pull back his hours, his days. So they knew that it was going to end up being 3 days. So you don't need Artie. So it's all works again in their favor. It's amazing the luck Howard has had, isn't it? Tell him about the luck he's had, John. Everything goes Howard's way.
He's got a golden horseshoe up his ass.
COVID was like exactly what Howard scripted in his brain to happen.
It was the stream
to
stay
get
home.
him out.
Yeah, this is a stream to stay home all the time. That was what he's always been planning on. G Canada writes, anyone who has enough stock in a company is actually a de facto. He's right. There's mathematically, it was always there, and we just didn't want to. Is de facto partner. If aforementioned person sells all at once, he'll dump the stock. Yes, G Canada. Thank you. Another great post by you. And I may be needing you soon if you want. The Baldwin trial. I don't know what the official announcement is on the first day, but they did the jury selection, and we would love to have you, sir. Yeah,
wasn't it excruciating when they were doing that a week or so ago when the lawyer was interrogating the guy about the gun, the trigger.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I was watching it going, oh, it was 40 minutes or 30 minutes of hammering this guy about it and then saying that this guy had changed his testimony and all this stuff. But I was just going, oh, this is going to be a long trial. This is going to be long. That was so boring.
It's 2 weeks. The Baldwin trial is going to be 2 weeks.
And
Probably
that guy
8
was
days.
so unhelpful when when the lawyer's trying to question him. The guy was just unbearable, and the judge. And this is like with Depp. The judge makes it excruciating. The judge is like, please answer the questions and all this stuff. Anyway, back to Sten. But what do we got? Parallels a few years after LOTUS and me, fake Twitters. Yeah, the turn to the dark side happened around then. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the Pelican brief, and that's a whole other. Bon, what'd you make? 100 clips from sound drops from the Pelican brief?
Yeah, well,
Throw
that
a
was
few
your
at us.
idea.
Throw a few at us. Let's see what we got. Yeah, we were talking about it last night, and I can't believe you threw it together that fast. Let's see if you have some. You don't have to, but
It's like we're Jehovah's Witnesses.
Like
Elliot Offen. He was trying to do Elliot Offen there. I remember that.
Oh, yeah. It's a crescendo.
Hey, let's pitch Tom Cruise.
Oh man, good stuff. God damn it. Go ahead, keep going.
I could just.
I have never rested on my laurels.
I could just. This was John's idea. He said, "How come you haven't?" Yeah, Pelican brief, and I was like, "Yeah, I've only got a couple." And what happened then? Okay, there's nothing on that one. Hold on here. Oh, they're all here.
Right.
I showed John a thing I made about.
I'm going to put together a core team.
I made about 30 or 40 in like 10 minutes. All these drops.
They're going to get an email.
Oh man.
All these drops are from the first 15 minutes of the Pelican brief.
These guys are friends of the court.
Yeah, the best are the Scientology buzzwords. Like that.
Yeah,
this woman was nowhere when she did our show.
Kathy Griffin. He couldn't even remember her name.
Billy Joel, David Bowie.
Do you want me to keep
going?
I can keep going. Yeah. Why not? Yeah.
Imagine Howard Stern in an Uncle Sam hat. Howard Stern wants you.
That was one of the best bits. Imagine Howard Stern doing the Howard Stern wants you. It's the stupidest image that comes into my head.
Paul McCartney.
Welcome, Pell. Yep, fake Twitters. As a matter of fact, PCPO. Welcome, sir.
Julia Roberts.
Oh God.
See, now you've started
thing
me.
I forgot about. I didn't know. I've listened to it 100 times and I don't remember the Uncle Sam drop.
I'm sure a late departed friend Gary Puppet made I think one of his avatar was like an Uncle Sam kind of thing. It had all the American logo on it. I'm sure he made a Photoshop though. You want me to keep going with this?
No, let me just read this one thing. Yes, keep going, but I'm going to read this one thing because this is great.
Okay.
PCPPO23 writes, Gary admitted, I didn't know this actually. Maybe we could find that. Gary admitted on the early Sirius wrap-up shows that the commercials are the thing that pays his salary, as well as this is when everything was honest back then. They used to blurt shit out on the wrap-up show because Howard wasn't there to censor it. So Howard kept all the money for himself. That is so important. That is so big. I'm going to have to go through those early 06 wrap-up shows. There's so much shit in there. You know, the problem with those, Bon, you can't look them up on Mark Spriggan. He didn't write those up. So you got to go through them like manually.
Him.
Yeah.
Isn't it a pain when I used to try and look at, because he's such a weirdo. He won't say Howard said a really stupid thing today about whatever, and you can't find stuff. But, I mean, yeah, when you think about Steven Singer or something, you know, that guy's paying a few million or more a year. So that is Gary was getting what, 500,000 back then, or 300, 400.
Well, you remember the controversy he got in with Artie, that he was getting more than Artie found his paycheck.
Oh yeah.
Gary was bordering $1 million. I think Gary was bordering $1 million when they got to Sirius. Like he was on the cusp of being a millionaire.
So that is true though. The sponsors, and that's not coming out of Howard's 100 million a year, 90 million a year.
That was the goal, is to not spend that money, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's amazing.
That's
it's
a great post PCPO.
Yeah,
23.
PCPPO,
I can't say
yo. Let's do the gangster style, yo.
Julia
Yes,
Roberts.
Jose.
We're
Keep
going to
going,
have
Bon.
structure.
There's this
structure.
structure.
That's huge.
If I'm a
Sarah-
publicist, I'm not sitting and thinking about the Howard Stern show.
That's great. Sarah's
see,
selling Sturkshire t-shirts. I have one. I wear it all the time. And like the U is off, and people stop me and go, "Hey man, I think structure is spelt wrong. Did you know that?"
Oh, yeah.
And I got to go into the whole thing about it. And it's great.
You know, I used to have a T-shirt that was really fantastic. It was a classic picture of Jimi Hendrix. No, sorry, the opposite. Fucked up. It was an image of Bob Marley, and under it said Jimi Hendrix in text.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So
'cause,
people
like,
would look at it and tilt their head funny, and then just keep walking.
Wasn't
There
Lenny
you go.
Kravitz thought of to be a knockoff of
Oh
Jimi
yeah.
Hendrix? Yeah, he's like
Yeah.
considered to be a poser knockoff of Jimi Hendrix.
Oh yeah.
The original Seattle rocker, right? He's started the grunge scene. Jimi
Yeah, he
Hendrix.
did. I never knew that when I was a lot younger. I always thought he was from somewhere else. It was
I
strange.
watched his movie biopic because Haley Atwell was in it, and yeah, they did the whole Seattle thing with him.
I haven't seen that. I don't think yet.
It wasn't huge.
Oh
I think
no,
it
I
was-
haven't. I have.
Yeah.
I don't think I could watch it because I'd never liked that music. But I do respect him, obviously, as a musician and an activist. Of course, an activist. What do we got here? Just tuned in. Excited to hear my favorite duo since Zan and Jaina, the Wonder Twins.
You remember the Super Friends, Bon?
No.
Yeah, the
not at
Super
all,
Friends
but-
is the Justice League converted to Saturday morning cartoons, and they called it the Super Friends. And they had teen sidekicks, the Wonder Twins from Exor, and Zan and Jaina with their space monkey Gleek, who is not the cutest animal. Sarah's cat Camilla is the cutest cat and the cutest animal, who would be great on the Super Friends.
Whatever.
Bon, do you know that song? It's Kathy Lee Gifford's "Only My Pillow Knows."
I
She
do
got-
not.
She
I
wrote
do
a
not.
song. She got cheated on, with Susan Johnson and fucking Frank Gifford, and she wrote a song, "Only My Pillow Knows," about speaking to
it's
her pain.
sad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
the
what that
tears
was.
in the pillow. Yeah,
Right.
we've all been there,
Okay. What? Okay. So who's I talking to? Say Melvin. Not true. I'm already got a life eradicating heroin. I know, Melvin. I meant that he deserves the money. He's gonna get. Artie was gonna self-sabotage himself either way. He wasn't. He hated the hours anyway, and he wasn't gonna last. And we knew that. And I think he wanted to be fired. And I would want to. Would you? How do you think Artie would work on this current show? You really think he would have lasted another year? It never would have
Oh,
worked.
I don't know what would have happened. He'd have to have his own sports segment where Robin and Howard really don't even talk. He'd be giving updates on scores, games that are happening, rumors. That's how you'd have to
The Artie and
integrate
Gary
him.
show on CBS. Remember that one? They offered Artie and Gary's show to replace Howard, to steal him away from Howard.
I wish they'd take. Well, they both probably. Well, Gary's probably very happy where he is now. He's probably doing less work than Howard, I'd
Yes.
say.
Horatius 763. I think Buckwald had high level connections, which he does, like Karmazin, and he used to help push Wigward along. Wonder why Buckwald only had a few clients that I've ever heard of. I know, it's ridiculous. What was the dentist that said, right? The client. When we say the callers were, what would Dennis say? The client to the agent to the star, because there's nobody else.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, there's nobody
Wish I had
else.
a drop of that. Agent
Ralph
to the
Macchio
star.
Ralph Macchio is a Buckwald client, as a matter of fact. Goes from
See,
Howard
that's
to Ralph.
weird.
Yeah.
How much money is he making out of Ralph a year? Oh, gosh.
I heard this thing, and I'm sure there's people in the chat that know this. I heard this thing that Ralph Macchio, and it could have been Artie that said this, and I'm sure Artie's obsessed with money too in his own way, that Ralph Macchio signed some monster deal when they did Karate Kid, that he got residuals when everybody was like, how does this guy, kind of like Mark Hamill with Star Wars, he was like, how does Macchio and the Karate Kid was like, how does he survive on just these Karate Kid movies? And apparently he signed some crazy deal, and that's a Buckwald. I don't know if Buckwald was representing him then, but he got crazy back end points off Karate Kid. That's what I thought I heard. And that's how he was able to just kind of coast along. And, you know, they brought back the fucking Cobra Kai thing now on Netflix. But yeah, that was not assuming depending on how our voting shares. He does it. 99 cents. Artie was pushed at every turn because he knew he was weak with drugs. Yes, Crazy Robin, of course. And they exploited those derelictions and addictions on the air and backed away when things went sideways. They knew exactly what they were doing. I have a clip of Howard going, why don't we play that right now before I even go
Let's
to the...
go to that.
Okay. This is the Q rating, which Sunflower fished out for me. The Sunflower Dragon. And this is the Q rating where they admit that Artie is the most popular guy on the show. And how else would you go to make the move to Sirius unless the most popular guy on the show is going there, right? You're not going to subscribe if not for this. So this is the Q rating. This is Artie Lang, the most popular guy on the show.
V did research where they do like a Q rating thing, and they try to find out, you know, how many people are aware of me. Everyone's aware of me. There's no problem with awareness. I'm 98 or 99% awareness. Like you could show a picture of me to people. They did it with Baba Booey. I don't know why Baba Booey and Artie, but they didn't even use you. They were like, what do you think about Baba Booey? What do you think about Artie? Everyone likes Artie. Artie's super funny. They describe him as, you know, a little bit crude, but funny and they likable. Baba Booey, everyone loves Baba Booey. I'm reading the research, and then it gets to me and they go, well, because Howard's so controversial, maybe this is the reason for the result. Like, 40% of the people kind of like me. The rest of them think I'm a fucking asshole.
Really?
Crude.
Everybody loves
disgusting.
Artie.
Oh, Artie, yeah. They love him.
But are you sure they really know who me?
This is Artie back, like he's trying to be modest here. He knows Howard can't deal with it. And so he's trying to downplay it. As you knew
He would always do this. He'd help Howard. And I can't blame him. That's just the way you suck up to the boss, you know.
Sure they really know who me and Baba Booey are.
I don't know. They like you. they seem to, they know who you are.
Right. So now let's go to the second one. And now you go, okay, I'm thinking, I'm watching this and going, okay, well, why would anyone subscribe to the show of the guy they hate if he's the sole reason to go? Well, we're subscribing for Artie. You could poll. That's where that comes from. That poll. You're going to Sirius, so you hear Artie Unleashed and Unhinged.
I would have been all over it.
You know what?
Back then, if I was paying and listening, I would have just been wait every day, especially when something majorly awesome happened on the show. It would just be like, I can't wait for tomorrow to hear them talk about what happened. It would have been just the best. You must have loved it, man.
I cannot convey to you, as someone who subscribed to Howard TV, I cannot convey to you how many videos were predicated on Artie all over it, and he didn't make a fucking cent from Howard TV. His agent should have been shot. His agent, I don't even know who. Helen Kushnick did a better job than this guy. What was the guy? What was Artie's agent name? I forget. God, what was his name? He was a Buckwald client. I forget his name, but I think he worked in the Buckwald agency, so it all gets funneled into Howard. But could you imagine? I mean, Artie's a guy. I think he would have been fine. By the way, I think Artie would. If he didn't work on the Stern Show, he would have been the fat sidekick for another 20 years. He's very likable. He's very convivial. He melds well. Somebody would have just thrown him in shit, and he would have been fine. He doesn't need the show. There's this misnomer that he needed the show. I think he would have been fine if he never was on the Stern Show.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing because if he was less inebriated and an addict, even after he left the Stern Show, maybe he could have still done these massive gigs. I don't know if, though. That might have been the reason that was so important to him. Because he wasn't playing 500 people gigs. He was playing 2,000 theaters and stuff.
Well, who knows? He would have gone in another direction, and it would have been with people that had his best interest at heart, and he would have, who knows? But I think his life would have been better. Honestly, I don't know. Katie Aldana, welcome. We love us some Katie Aldana, and who really is right by Fairfax, Virginia, and was she's going to be on the Real Housewives of Potomac on Bravo. She's going to be the first white cast member on Real Housewives of Potomac. I can't wait for that. It's going to be with the Grand Dame. JK status. Is this going to be a weekly show? We think it is, JK. We'll see. Again, you know the moods, you know the depression I'm going through. So I don't want to make promises I can't cash in on. But so far, I want to say that it will be. But I cannot put that level of pressure on myself until I know I can deliver. I believe I will soon. I'm probably 20% better than I was 2 months ago. That's the goal, is to do this at least once a week. And we will. Bon, I think we can pull it off, right? For JK status?
Yeah, but I don't want to put any things on it like it has to be. It's when it's cooked and it's ready. If it's not cooked, like if we're not like, yeah, let's do it. Yeah, so who knows? It doesn't. I don't think it. If I was just listening, I'd be like, yeah, do it whenever you're ready, whenever you got something good. It's about getting something good.
The last thing I want to do is put pressure on you to come to. So I have a good routine going with this from the Deppening. I think I have it all figured out now, how to make it all easy for us. So I don't think it's going to be the worst. The first show like this, it's always the hardest.
Yeah, true. And John has done the lion's share of the work on this. I was stuck making the bloody intro and outro, so that was my jig. That was my.
Hey, buddy, it's not a contest. It's not a contest here. We're all one.
No, I'm just giving you the props.
I know.
We're both giving it. We're giving everyone and each other all of the props.
Welcome to the Deppening family.
I didn't know if I should interject back when you on the return show months ago, but all of the things you were saying, I didn't want to like say, oh well, let's just make it about me as well. But I know how you're feeling because I've been through all of that too.
Yeah,
I take antidepressants. I didn't want to interject when you were talking back then. I thought I'd just let you speak, but I take antidepressants. I've got ADHD and major depression, so I know exactly what you were talking about. And for people who don't have those issues, it's very difficult for them to understand, and that's the problem that I've had a lot of my life. And a lot of people were saying in comments, John, hurry up and come back, and people with depression don't respond to things like that. So that's why you didn't, a depressed person, you may not hear from them. And in your case, it was exactly the kind of things that I've done many times. So I understand. That's why Johnny and I, we get along, because we know we have the gallows humor, as they call it, the dark humor about depression, which is to make black humor, because there's the only way to get through it is to make something entertaining out of it. And a lot of it is funny about dealing with someone who's depressed and all of the opportunities that people with these kind of issues sometimes miss out on and stuff because they just aren't in the right headspace. But with this show, yeah, we're just going to keep going and do whatever we can to make it good, because it's just so much fun to talk about it. And what we're talking about here today, like, is Howard coming in and making a gigantic mistake by advertising this before he went to Sirius. He made what Buchwald should have said to him: you better pull back on how you're talking about this every day and saying, we're going here soon and we're doing this. And Howard, it really was just like jumping off a ship and trying to swim to the shore from so far away. He was making a huge mistake. And then he should not have been surprised when they said, look, you took it way too far, man. You're making content trying to get all of our customers to leave. You bastard. Like, what were you thinking, man? You thinking we weren't going to come after you? Yeah. You're thinking it was okay. And when you see the press conference, which we can see later and everything, Howard, again, reduced to the little small person. And just a few years ago, he made this big announcement that he cried when that whole thing happened.
He'll burst into tears when he doesn't get his way, because he's only gotten his way. I mean, like you said, he's such a deal with the devil. He does not know the word no. and he has stepped in shit every step of the way. And I give Buchwald all the credit for it. He just is. It's just follow the money, chase the money. It's not about anything else. This is what this is about. And he's constantly stepping in shit. He never gets. There's no accountability. There's no, and he just, like I said, the least amount of live radio, all the money, and no accountability. That's his goal in every situation.
Yeah,
Every situation.
and Buchwald absolutely should have known. And Howard you're going to love this analogy. It's like in the movies that we love, the mafia movies and stuff. You have that point in the movie where it's the high life, like in Goodfellas, where they're making so much money. And like in the intro I did, you see the cash registers and all the money coming out. And then they go too far. They know they shouldn't. Like a cop will tell them, yeah, the deal we have is fine, but don't do this or that, because if you do these things, you're going to get in trouble. And then they always go that too far. And this is like Howard, just like Scarface type thing. Like Howard had his snout so far in the trough, and he had to go even further. He had to rub it in their faces.
The difference is this is legal blackmail with contract language that he got through Buchwald with a deal with the devil, that it's not getting caught is too late because he's already signed the deals and he's already gotten the stock bonus, and now he could pull back on any kind of fake effort that he had initially, like programming the channels, like doing, what we're going to do? We're going to pop on when we feel like it. We're going to do live radio. We're just going to turn the mics on.
Yes.
Right. Which was I think a large number of people subscribed on that premise that he said that. Oh my God,
Yeah.
any point? They don't have to adhere to a day parts or a schedule. He's just going to pop on.
I would have loved it if the way the radio worked or whatever, it gave you a notification. Like if it's Saturday night at 10 p.m. and suddenly he comes on, I would have loved that if it had happened. I would have said, this is exactly what I paid for, even if he's on for just 45 minutes.
If he didn't get his if he didn't get his 225 million immediately, he would have done that for another year. Until he would have done it until he got his bonus and then pulled back. That's the game. That's what he does. He'll always do that.
And strangely, last year, John, or even I think it may be the start of this year or last year, he did come on.
Yep.
The pop-up shows he called them earlier this year, I think.
Because they counted as a show.
Suddenly doing it. Yeah.
Because they counted as a show that he owed them. So he just jumped on in the laziest way possible. Hey, I'm with my friends. I'm doing you a favor. I'm going to come on for an hour and 15 minutes at Robert Downey Jr. on Beth's birthday and Fallon sucking his ass.
Yeah.
Can we do a Marky Mark show?
And it works even better, though, John, because then when he's on the air on Monday, he'll talk about it for 15 minutes.
Brag about it like he's doing you a favor.
But he's using it for content on Monday. They don't have to talk about garbage for 15 minutes. See, it's all perfect. This is why you got to admire how he got like that.
No, I'm not admiring shit. His agent pulled the string. I'm not admiring a huckster con man who's taking advantage of these sweet people. I mean, there's there's people who have not a dime to their name paying for his fucking subscriptions. I'm not admiring shit. I could care less about business. I hope the towers get hit again. I could care less.
But if you're going to grift, do it right. That's what I'm saying. Everyone listening, I'm interested to know what your opinion is. So for the people live,
I have no concern for business savvy.
Give us your opinion. Leave a comment if you're listening to this after the show. Has he grifted well? Because I think he's grifted.
Of course he did, but that's Buchwald doing it for him. He's taking the credit for it. That's right. His lawyers and Buchwald doing it for him. He can't do that stuff. He burst into tears in the office.
I wish Buchwald would retire so he can write a book. That would be in a book. Oh.
There's a real sad story. Buchwald's son committed suicide.
Oh, no.
It never came up. Yes, swear to God. If we go back and figure out when that was, I bet we could trace it to some weirdness Howard probably did on the air. We didn't know what it was. I saw it I friended someone from the Buchwald family on Facebook, and this weird announcement came up, and it was his son.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's awful. Of course. I mean, it's difficult. It shows you that money doesn't solve issues in the head if you have them, or
For Howard, it does. He throws money at every problem. That's all he cares about. How can I distance myself from my kids? Every mental illness. I can't take care of my kids and be around my wife. I'm so tortured. Yeah. Right.
Oh yeah.
Katie
Well,
Aldana loves the drop spawn as does tendrils. Let's get back to this.
I think I even have. You know what? I didn't print it out. I was so disgusted. I said, "I'm not doing this on the air."
They even break it down to like demographics. Who knows us? Men, women, what age? And
give a report like.
Here you go. 71% of adults.
Now listen to these statistics about how soundly Artie's the favorite.
71% of adults 18 plus like Artie. 29% dislike him. 53% like me. 47% don't like me. 32% like you, Howard. 68% dislike you.
Wow. I'm on the.
So Artie has almost 3 times the fans Howard does amongst the audience.
That's yeah. I mean, Howard's.
And he got the bonus. He got the whole bonus, and Artie got zip. Nothing.
Yeah, Howard's not liking it.
I'm on the show with these fucking guys, and I'm the least likely.
Wait a minute. Wait, I'm the clear winner there. Wow.
You have like you're almost like you're like you know who you're like? You're like Brad Pitt or you're up there.
I'm a fat.
There's the creatively bankrupt Brad Pitt reference. I forgot about that. Yeah, Howard loves to say Brad Pitt, Hitler. What are the other bankrupt references in every situation? We'll figure. As they go, I'll collect them. Wigward is so dumb and lame that I'm kind of ashamed and angry at myself. Me too, Horatius763, that I ever listened. I mean, it's in the 90s it was way different with Billy West and stuff. And I guess I thought he was somehow the best at that time, but he's so dreadfully unfunny and such a twisted, evil asshole. So spot on, Horatius. Well said.
Yeah.
Crazy Robin says it's just too much. I would just have to turn it off. I can't listen to encouraging self-harm. Oh, so you're talking about Artie. Crazy Robin, the social worker, and Crazy Robin always comes out. Here we go.
Cuddly little bear.
Your likability factor is through the roof.
Yes.
You're the kind of guy advertisers are looking for. You should read the live commercials, not me.
Right. I'm the whore guy.
This is the best one. They ask about certain attributes and they give you some buzzwords. So people interviewed, 67% thought Artie was funny.
Right. Read mine. Skip down to mine.
Okay.
Howard's almost like humble bragging that he thinks he's repugnant to the fans, but he got his bonus, so it doesn't matter anymore that this is the case. He's like, oh, he thinks he's offending them, or he thinks he's what, but that's not something you humble brag about. The host of the show who gets all the money, everybody hates. That's not something you humble. Bon, do you have the intro to the second show of the Pelican Tank remake? Yeah, you have that, right? That was the best Radio Gunk intro ever. You saved those, right?
Yeah, the black and white one he means where
that was great.
Chopped it. Yeah, I have it somewhere, but yeah, it was. It went. The one I loved the most was I think I did when we did Beefus Promotes. We did part 2, and I did a whole. Oh well, I did the 8mm with Nicolas Cage reacting to Beth, and the best part about it was that Tim Sabian was watching, and in the live chat he wrote like, "Wow,
that was
incredible"
bizarre.
or something, and I was like honored. I was like, "Oh my god, that's Tim," and I was like, "Wow, thank you."
I haven't heard from Sabian in a long time. Maybe because I'd been off Gunk or something, but I don't know. Has he been on? I just haven't heard at all from him.
KC had him on a year ago. That's it. He doesn't do shows. He doesn't want to talk, and he's not good with talking about Stern.
Well, he did his part. He told us the story about his dad passing away and Howard not giving him time off and then firing him, which says who he is across. It's the worst story I've ever heard. That's who Howard is. If you want to hate Howard and wonder why we do, listen to Tim Sabian tell a story about how he went to Howard. His father was in hospice, and he had to take a little time off to take care of his dad, and Howard fired him. That is subhuman. That is sociopathic. He is the worst. If you want to know why we're so vitriolic, that is the worst of the worst. I've never seen a more, what a charmed life Howard has, just in the fact that he has like no loss in his life. His dad made it to 100 fucking years old. What is that?
It's incredible. Yeah. And
Camilla the Catstronaut, Frank the Tank. Yes. That's my new animated series I'm writing, Camilla the Catstronaut. I love it.
This
I can't believe you
cat
remember
gets
that.
so much airtime.
We love Camilla. We love
I
Camilla.
want. We need more. We need footage of the cat because we see little bits, but we need like a. Look, recently, Dennis on Radio Gunk shows had another camera on his cat on screen as like another host, so you could just see his cat.
Yeah.
Just reacting, probably getting freaked out because obviously Dennis can go on rants and get vitriolic. But I'll tell you another funny thing, John. I made a poll, since we're talking about polls and Artie, I made a poll while you were gone on Radio Gunk on the YouTube, and I said, vote your favorite gunker.
And Grace won?
And guess who came first? You.
Grace.
You.
Ah, wow. That's
this
really
this
nice.
year I made it on the YouTube poll thing you can make. Like,
the man of the people, you know that.
And guess who came second?
Who's in the running? I don't even know.
It was Monique, Dennis, me, you, Xavier.
Oh, you must have been at least second, right?
I came second.
Yeah, people love you.
And then I can't remember the order, but the problem
you're much
was
more than an accent. I always say to people, he's much more than an accent. Stop obsessing over the Australian accent. He's much more than an accent.
I think it's horrible. I hate the accent, but
everybody hates their own voice.
But I remembered that I made that poll a few months, like 6 months ago, and I was like, I should get a screen grab of that and just put it up on the screen during the show just to be a smartass. And John, the poll had been deleted.
Oh, really?
I don't know. I wonder who deleted it.
Howard deleted it.
Yeah, that's who deleted it. But continue with this video. We're loving this.
Katie Aldana, I want to say that's a great reference. Ralph Macchio was in my cousin Vinny. I remember when he was in that, and I thought to myself, and everybody said this, like, that fucking guy from the Karate Kid. What has he been doing for the last? I always remember that when he was in, and he had it could have been anybody in my cousin Vinny. You didn't even know he was. You know what I mean? They didn't promote it on him. He was just playing some normal guy, and you talk about like not aging. I mean, that motherfucker is 63 now.
Yes.
Ralph Macchio. There's nothing better than Aldana infiltration. I'd really like to know how much of a treasure, but yeah, Frank, Buchwald's 10% off Howard's money is phenomenally wealthy. If just the 10%, he gets, I'm telling you, that guy, that's a great point. Buchwald's just calling on about residual. G Canada goes, Melvin, I heard the same pretty Anthony's guarantee. Oh, the Anthony and the Kumia's compound media closed. I wonder why. I wonder what was yes, I heard from Ellen. I'll let you know, Brendan, tonight if there's a party. Ask Jim Verdone if he heard from Ellen. My guess is that now 100% of Howard's. Ready? Here we go.
In order, the top amount of people think you're rude, Howard. That's 55%. 43% think you're creepy.
Creepy? Can you imagine?
Creepy. So the guy that's creepy, the most we're following to Sirius and paying for it. I don't think so.
I'm reading this thing. I go, not only am I rude, I can deal with.
Okay.
Creepy.
My first two were creepy and rude, but then.
Go ahead, Bon. I'm sorry.
Howard's glasses there make him look creepy. He used to wear like the Bono kind of glasses that did to hide the shifty eyes.
He
that
is
looked
not
better
meant to
than
be on
those
TV
glasses.
in any way, shape, or form. He's not meant to be on Howard
really?
TV. He doesn't even belong on Howard TV.
And this was the best era of how Howard looked.
Yeah.
He did look, compared to anything else, he looked
peak
cool.
Of his genetical power.
He's wearing like a puffy shirt, the pirate shirt, but still,
Oh, with the plunging neckline too. That was somebody on her. I think it was Tiger Lily. She wrote I don't know if it was a meme. It had to be her. It could have been Sarah. And there was a meme. They made a meme of Howard with a plunging neckline in the Hamptons, and it just said, "Button up your shirt, old man." And it was a picture of Beth like falling asleep. It was a simple like insult like that. It really made me laugh. I don't know if it was just I like for forever. I saved that meme and put it on my phone, and it's so funny. Button up your shirt, old man.
It's not what Howard even wants to wear. It's just how Ralph wants him to wear. That's the weirdest part.
Right. It's Howard's dressing like Ralph. It's not Ralph's dressing like Howard. People,
I know,
Ralph wants
isn't
to be
that
Howard.
weird?
No, Howard's dressing like Ralph. It's not the other way around. Look at the wig. That's just so true. Let me finish.
The cargo pants were one of his worst. They're so big
worst.
on him. God,
I bet he had the skater shirt on, the big puffy skater shirt in the Hamptons. What the fuck did it say? Was it Sean John? The Sean John here, the Puff Daddy. We got to do a Puff Daddy thing. We got to go through the Sean Combs interviews and find some stuff. You know, because Sarah had that thread about all the scumbag, all the Me Too rapeist scumbags in Howard's life, like Matt Lauer, and it's endless,
impossible.
Yes. Oh, we got to do a whole thing on that. I had a boss like that. If you didn't prop them up, Pellel says this, she'd get all miserable and take it out on everyone else. That's so true. That's so true. Kissing
it really
boss
is.
ass.
Much lower numbers.
Yeah, I know. I saw.
41% think you're overexposed. 41% think you're kooky and wacky. And 38% think you're aggressive. So
anything nice?
No, it was one more horrible thing than the next, and more horrible thing than the next. And I'm saying, well, they ought to make an Artie channel or a Baba Booey channel, not a Howard channel.
What was that? Make it an Artie channel, right?
And a Baba Booey. Gee, he really goes out on a limb there. Whoa.
We're not. It's almost like he's Wiggerous flying too close to the sun.
Yes, that's exactly it.
We're not only
going to
heard you
say Wiggerous for a long time.
Oh. I was proud of that coinage back then.
Oh, I loved it, man. That was a huge thing on the podcast. Wiggerous that would come up. If we have any artists, please draw animate a Wiggerous.
I love
flying.
a winged superhero. I love a winged superhero. I love Archangel from the X-Men. I love Hawkman. I love the Falcon, the real Falcon from the comic book, Sam Wilson. God, there's so many good winged superheroes.
And I don't follow this stuff, but they threw away that movie just a few months ago with the girl in it.
Oh,
they just said
Marvel?
it's not
the Marvels?
It's not going to come out now. Was it Catwoman or something? Yeah.
No, I don't. You got to give me more on that. I need more than just that woman.
Didn't it just happen? The guys in the chat will know. They
shelved it. We'll figure it out. There's a million of these. We'll figure it out. Look at that wig. Yes. Yeah, Melvin. What are we thinking not seeing that? Look at that shit. Look at that. The headphones won't even, it just props on top of it. It's not even a dent. Who puts headphones on and your hair doesn't dent? Look at this shit. What are we thinking? Yes, Crazy Robin. Look at Josh Foster with an Antonio McDice reference. Look at this. Look at the, I don't know, he basically he was supposed to be like the next Sean Kemp, and he's like this vertical leaping power forward, and he had a couple good years, but he was very injury prone. And Colin Quinn had a joke using him once. I don't know why I remember this, and he was talking about he was at a Dennis Leary roast, and Dr. Dre and Ed Lover were there, and he threw it to them, and he goes, "Look over there, Dr. Dre and Ed Lover are here. They're the ones you think when your daughter comes trundling down the stairs wearing an Antonio McDice jersey." And it was just to say Antonio McDice, like 3 people in the world got that joke, and I was proud. I was one of them.
I love his speech.
Yeah, he has that weird cadence.
Yeah, it's really good.
She comes trundling down the stairs wearing an Antonio McDice jersey. In the same, I think he said Rasheed Wallace in the same joke or whatever. Thank you, Josh, for that reference, and it's great to see you, my friend. By the way, speaking of Josh Foster and sports, and you're doing this. You and David are both going to join the Fantasy Football League this year. You're doing it. You're doing it. You're going to do it. You're doing it.
Me?
Just because you know nothing.
You don't mean me, do you?
It's not an Australian football league.
Oh, God,
just
do you
because,
mean me?
Yes,
oh,
because
God.
you know nothing about the NFL. It would be hilarious to see you win. Like Sarah won the first year she did it. It was crazy. Like Sarah knows like more than I do now. She like knows like the Cleveland Browns like fucking secondary special teams and backup defensive linemen. It's crazy.
Yeah, when I've heard you talk about this, I actually looked it up, what fantasy football, and read what it is, and then I still didn't understand it. Let's not do it now, but I need you to explain it to me off air, because I was like, this is very strange. Anyway.
Thank you, Gamma Man. You rule too, and I'm not talking about your Bruce Banner Gamma Blast that you could give you your superpowers in New Mexico with Rick Jones saving Rick Jones. Josh, I think McDice won the Spreewell Award. Oh God, yeah, he had a huge contract and never. Jason Williams did that too. G Canada. It's like he got this huge. It's kind of like better than Howard.
I'll tell you something, John. What I want you to see, maybe a segment on this show, I want you to see. I'll put together a package of our Australian football, and it's completely different to yours, but
You
how it's
guys- you
played.
guys-
And I'd love to see your reaction because I have American friends who, when they saw it, they said, "Wow, it's crazy."
You
and
guys are the
and they
toughest
said,
son of. I say it all the time. You guys are the toughest son of a bitches on the planet. No pads, and you're
"Oh,
playing
you've
football.
have
You
you
are the
seen
toughest
it
people.
played?" Yeah.
Yep. No, the old ESPN, and I'm sure Josh Foster remembers this. In the earliest days of ESPN, they had no licensing for the big three, so they had no end. They had the NBA very early on before Jordan. So they had the NBA for like 2 or 3 years. Then they lost to TBS. They had no NFL. They had no Major League Baseball, and they were playing fucking Australian football
Holy
at 2 o'clock in the
crap.
afternoon on
I
ESPN.
can't believe it.
I swear to God, and I watched
and
it.
you watched it. Oh,
I
wow.
watched it.
Isn't it amazing? You can
Yep.
jump right up on the person's back and mark, they call it a mark, and get the ball, and then you get to try to kick a goal. Oh, I'd never thought you would have known about that.
You must think we're the biggest pussies on the planet with our injuries, with all the pads and the rules and stuff, and you guys are smacking into each other with nothing.
No, we've had all of we've had that where the star player gets injured and is out for like a year or two,
Right.
and it's devastating. But no, I don't think you're pussies when I watch your American football. That is brutal.
In the NBA, the toughest players in the league are Australians and New Zealand. They're the toughest guys, and they don't get injured. They are enforcers. Like Steven Adams is considered the strongest player in the NBA. Like you just cannot dent him. He gets injured, but he's just. And they're
Is he
also considered
Australian?
cheap. Yeah. They're also considered cheap shot artists at the same time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Matthew.
Did you like our Andrew Gaze back in
Yes.
the 90s? Remember him?
Yes,
he was
I remember. I
big
can't believe you
deal
remember
over there.
him.
He was huge here. Oh, he's like an icon here.
He was on Seton Hall, and he's from. Yeah, he never played in the NBA. I don't think.
Oh,
He didn't
right. I
make
thought he
it.
did.
No,
Didn't he
I
go
don't
to
think he-
LA Lakers or something like that?
He might have
I
tried
don't-
out, but he never. He was a great. He was a good player in college, but he didn't really translate to the NBA. He was on Seton
Oh,
Hall.
that's a shame. Because, yeah, I remember back then I heard he was in America doing whatever, but I didn't know. I don't know anything about basketball or anything.
Joe Ingles is an Australian player too. He's a great 3-point shooter, but he's gotten kind of. I think he's not in the league anymore.
I'm stunned that you've seen Australian football. I thought you were going to say, "Oh, I've never heard of it." So yeah, I appreciate that you, because they are like athletes, absolute.
Yeah, the best.
Players.
No,
They're
I agree with you.
giants
I
too.
agree with you.
They're all like 6'5", 6'6". The game is vicious. No helmets, no
Right.
padding.
No padding. I don't understand.
They try to bring in helmets every year. It's people get concussion. You have to go out for 2 weeks if you get a concussion. You can't play, and it's just brutal. I don't know how they do it. It's an amazing game. If anyone look up AFL Australian rules, it's just.
Do you think there's fantasy Australian football? Does that exist now? There might be.
I have no idea, but I'll look into it.
All right,
If
you
there
do
is,
our NFL, and I'll do your Australian football and fantasy. How about that?
that would be great if we have it. I don't like your football how it stops all the time.
It does stop
It's a
all the time, I know.
setup, and then they throw it. Our one is where the ball goes up, and then you're rocking for 15 minutes. It's just
When I was a little kid, we first got a VCR, and it was the San Francisco 49ers Cincinnati Bengals Super Bowl. And the first thing I did on the VCR is I put a blank tape in, and I recorded the Super Bowl just to action. So snap to
Wow.
whistle, and it was 11 minutes. The game itself is 4 hours. The action is 11 minutes.
Yeah, 4 quarters. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. It's
I got
brutal.
I had all the action, 11 minutes.
It's like it's been likened to throwing a tennis ball to a pack of rabid dogs.
Yeah.
That's basically what it's just. And back in the 90s and 80s and 70s, they didn't have rules. People were getting beaten out there. Now they've got all of these rules they've brought in, and it's probably the same with the rules ruin the game. I think that's what you always hear people say. They brought in so many rules, but Aussie Australian, it's just so much fun watching it because you just have it doesn't slow down like your game. Like I'm sure the American, I think it's one of the almost the most popular sport in the world, like with soccer and that. You're
Right.
American, but it's just hard to watch because it just seems to slow down a lot. But anyway, sorry for diverging.
Thank you, Sunflower Dragon. I saw Artie do
Sunflower
stand-up.
Dragon. I'm going to record a drop for when Sunflower makes comment. We'll do something like a little tacky
I
Casio
agree.
keyboard, like do, and I'll go Sunflower Dragon. Because that's such a nice name. It rolls phonetic Sunflower Dragon. It's like cellar door,
Thank you, Sunflower Dragon. I saw Artie do stand-up when he came back after he tried to kill himself. The standing ovation went on for
Oh my
15
God.
minutes when he came out.
It's like they're
I
at
believe
Cannes
that.
Film Festival. How could it be 15? I believe you, but oh my God. I'd be sitting there, I'd be the one sitting down. Like, Seinfeld's done a bit about that. I'd be sitting down after a couple of minutes saying, this is not the guy that deserves this. His stand-up is come on. I mean, everyone in the chat, have you ever laughed hard listening to his stand-up? I never really laughed hard. I laughed hard for him riffing live with
he's
Howard.
probably better off not having material. I think he should just go out and riff with the. Why does there have to be? We have too many rules. One of the things I hate about stand-up, there's too many rules. There's too many Seinfeldian fucking anal retentive rules. You don't need. You don't. It's all about charisma. If I like you, I don't care what you wrote. I don't care what. Like we say about Shuli, fuck your dreams. You have no charisma. I don't care how bad you want it. I don't care. You practice in front of your parents in the living room. I don't care if your dream is to be a comedian. Nobody likes you. You have no charisma. Stop. Get off the stage. Nobody likes you. Artie's the opposite. Anything he does, you like it. He doesn't need material. He doesn't need to practice. It's not a fair world, but if you have zero charisma, like a Shuli, you do not belong in that sport. And Artie's
exactly
all charisma.
Right.
Melvin, best thing to do is frost a cake when it's still battier. Shane Battier. Oh, still batter. Okay. Artie's because he's funny and the common man, end person, humor. That's why I kept quiet. I suffer from that too. And that's when you're in it. And I don't think anyone says, yeah. The kids like to say ghost. You get ghosted.
Ghosted,
by people,
yeah.
In a depression. And I did that. And believe me, it was not my intention. So when I hear the word ghost, I get kind of sick of myself because I know I've done that and didn't mean to do it. It's because I can't give you the Herculean response I want to give you. So I shut down.
I've done it to people in my life countless times, and it's hard for them to understand. That's just the truth, and it's hard. And they have to understand. That's the way I see it. I just see it as I'm doing a job every day and night in my head, as well as life, There's an extra thing. And people who say everybody's got problems. No, I believe some people have more problems. Yeah.
No doubt.
If you don't have depression and you've got a family member who's dying of a terminal illness, you've got problems in your life. But when you add mental problems on top of real normal life problems like that, with dealing with people in your life who have issues, and you've got more. Some people, so saying everybody's got problems and you've got to pull it together, it doesn't work like that, and it won't make anyone with depression change. Never. It makes them more defiant, and people with depression are defiant. There's an anger, and like they said on The Sopranos, Dr. Melfi said depression is anger turned inward. So you'll fight it harder when people try and push you. People don't try and push people in life.
I heard a great definition for it. It's that your brain is at war with itself all the time. It was. I thought that was pretty poetic. Like you're just constantly the littlest decisions, your brain is just fighting itself, and you just the most mundane shut you down, and then you get tired because your brain never. This isn't like a backward compliment. Like I'm so deep. I'm jerking myself off because I'm always. No, I mean, if your brain is fighting itself all the time, eventually you're going to be like me, and you need a 2-hour nap at the strangest time. You're going, why? Because you just don't know how to relax. It's not in me to do so. All us Italians know how to do is scream and hit. It's always been the case, right? It's always been the case.
I've had times when I've got to do something that's so simple, like I have to go to, I don't know, go to the chemist to get something, and I just can't even do it. I can't even go out. I'm like, I've got to go, and I'll sit there going, just go. It'll take you 10 minutes. And I'm just like, I don't want to go. I don't want to go for some reason. And you're having this whole thing. And if someone comes in and says, just go, man, you're just like, no, I'm dealing with something. There's a reason why I don't want to go. It's not because I'm lazy.
There's something underlying
there's something going on today. And that's how I just take it every day by day. I'm not going, I don't think about weeks away. I just think about the day. And it's like when there's a show like this, I just think about the show.
Yeah, you torture yourself. I mean, I watched you, and I'm going through it too. But I've managed to, I don't know. Sometimes I could power through, and sometimes I can't. But I mean, what I resent the most about that mental illness that I have, and I've thought about this for years, and I knew it was happening. The worst thing is I knew it was happening as it was happening, and I couldn't plan. The time you lose, you cannot get back. So when I crawl into a hole and I'm sitting there, I'm not like Steve Rogers going into suspended animation where I don't age and I'm just gonna pop out. You lose that time, and you lose friends, and you lose. The world's not going to wait for you to snap out of it, and it doesn't. I can't. When I tabulate the time I've lost in that mood, it makes me just.
That's the hardest part. It's heartbreaking. But you realize that after being so down for a few days about something, that after you feel better, it's just me again. I went through all of that it was a negative. It's really depressing. And it makes you feel worse, which is even the worst part. So it's very difficult. That's why you see a shrink and you try and talk about that, but even they don't have an answer to that. When I've seen them, it's like they say, well, that's your lot in life, is what I've been told. You have to accept it. And that's very hard for people. And that's why they fuck up. Like someone like Artie is making every wrong mistake for a person with depression like himself. Like, I know I can't drink. I just accepted it.
We'll see about that. You say that now, not if I have anything to say about it.
I would drink if you were going to come here, or I was going to go to America and meet you. I would become an alcoholic for the period.
Excellent. You can't be an Australian football player unless you're a huge booze hound. So that just goes with the territory. They don't care about any of that.
Oh man, they used to drink beers during the break in the 80s and 70s.
Yeah, right.
They'd be drinking a beer. Isn't that so fucking ridiculous? Now it's all about money. It's ruined it now. It's like you're the big sports. There's no drinking. There's no fun. It's all about winning. They're so obsessed with winning. They lie down. Do your American footballers all lie down and cry at the Super Bowl when they lose? Yeah, they do it here. They're all got their head in their hands, and it's devastating to watch. Like, I'm surprised that there hasn't been suicide, like a famous football player here.
See, that's why I don't get
killed himself like after the final.
That's why I only care about my individual stats, so I don't have any of those problems. I really don't care
who
wins or lose. I only care about my stats. Frank the Tank, this is amazing when you think about it, right? We said this, but you can't reiterate this enough. Artie has outlived Norm Macdonald. Artie Lang has outlived, who would have thought, outlives Norm Macdonald, Bob Saget, Gilbert Gottfried, and Howard Stern's relevance. That is crazy. Who would have thought Artie would be alive and kicking at 50? He'll be 57 in October. Isn't that crazy?
It's amazing. But look what he had to do to stay alive.
Okay, let's get back to this.
Hold on, Artie. Here's the best one. So Howard's top 5 are rude, creepy, overexposed, kooky, wacky, and aggressive. Even I when you get down to my fifth attribute, 21% of people think I'm funny. Howard didn't even get funny.
I'm not even funny. I'm a fucking wacky, creepy guy.
See, I don't think that these. How many people did they ask?
100.
Where?
It was 100 people.
No, this is like Artie. This is like a real,
give the company that does it because it's like.
It's called eScore, and they do market poll research for 1,100 people. It's basically
it was
like
1,100 people, but
1,100 people is a pretty big cross section of fans of this show, and none of them think Howard's even fun. He lost every comedic gene, and I always go back to Jackie, right? I mean, when you got Benji writing for you, what do you think? And he has no delivery of his own. What do you think's going to happen? And everything's uptight, and everything's off the table. Of course, he's not going to be funny. There was a time I laughed at Howard mightily. I mean, when he was on the Magic Hour, I don't know if I ever laughed harder than that. But Jackie,
we're going to do that, aren't we?
Yeah, but you certainly are.
Well, when you've got 1,100 people who bother to vote, you're talking super fans as well. So they're all biggest fans, and they all liked Artie the most. You think you'd hope it would be for the name of the show, but they all went for Artie.
Yeah,
most of them went for Artie, whatever it was.
Which is kind of what we're speaking to, because the move to Sirius is all about his popularity, and he got nothing for it. I cannot stress that enough. And I think it haunted, I really believe that it haunted Artie all throughout the show when he saw Howard. Artie had to know, oh, Howard's getting a $225 million bonus to move that. He got $83 million in 2007. He got another $83 million. If you're Artie and you're obsessed with money, it has to eat at you all the time.
Yeah,
resent shit from that.
And why did he get rid of Sabian? Probably because Sabian did such a good job. He didn't want people who were so good. That's what I think about Sabian. It just came to my mind. He wants a dumber guy.
He wants right. He wants someone he can.
Because Sabian would have been saying, "All right, let's have a meeting. I've got these ideas, this ideas." He wants someone who just the moment he found a way to get rid of Sabian, and he probably was happy. Maybe was happy when Artie first left.
They're lapdogs.
Now
They're
could
there.
be about him more again.
Sabian's there to take the fall. Sabian's there as the buffer between Howard and accountability.
Yeah,
That's
like
why he's
Tom
there.
was as Chisano,
Yes.
yeah.
But Sabian was worse because Howard had less accountability and then would go to the side, and then he had to just he was dealing with way more staff than Chisano was. So he had to deal with the staff and anybody coming at him, and really the Howard's a partner, so it didn't matter, but he's dealing with anything.
No, I mean, look, I'm a guy's guy. I've never thought you were creepy. I think you're hilarious.
This is 23%.
Artie's got to do damage control here. This is great.
23% think I killed Anna Nicole Smith.
You did. I think you drove her to Suichi Day. You did, actually. And that's another show. You actually did.
I've got to stop you right there, John. I have an announcement to make. Announcement. Okay. This is the point of the show where I have to do a few things, which involves getting the dog outside and a few things. So, John, you're in control for a while.
I gotta do I gotta be the solo douche.
I might be gone for 20 minutes or so now.
20 minutes?
I know, I'm sorry. I have to do this. So this is going to happen. So everyone needs to get used to this. But everyone loves you. So, if...
I feel like such a douche. 20 minutes.
I'm going to be listening.
Email me. Canada's like, email me.
I'm going to be listening, but I'm going to... I can't talk because it'll be so much noise outside.
Okay, you can mute
so
it.
I'll be back, but continue what you're on the track. I'm loving this. Go with it, and I'll actually remove myself, and then I'll return.
No, don't remove yourself. Just
okay,
mute.
all right. I'll just be okay. Be back later.
Thank you, Frank the Tank. Thank you. Depp versus Howard knowledge. I don't know. That's a good one. I don't know what I know more about with those two. I would email guys. It's too late in the show to bring someone new in. I would though. I would. It was really just we were supposed to have David on, and I didn't know what Sarah was. Sarah had to work late, and she couldn't pop on. So I guess I'm gonna have to do this douche solo movie. You guys, I can do the solo thing. I just don't like it. I like throwing it to someone. As a podcast listener, I'm I'm a reader. I'm not a music listener. I don't like, as a podcast listener, the solo podcast. I don't like it. I think it's boring. The guy talking to himself about himself, staring up into the. I need the interaction. I need at least, even like Red Bar, right, with fucking Jules, his wife, right? She doesn't say much, but she's there, and most things she says is pretty great, and she's a great broad, great female, Canadian. Of course, she's Canadian, right? You couldn't have a cool factor like Jules unless you were Canadian. So it's something, just someone there. Thank you, Frank the Tank. Thank you.
Wow.
Howard's fake laugh drives me crazy with the chiclet teeth too. This is when he's starting to get insufferable. Everything about him, I started to hate right about here.
You got to think of women who think that like having any nude chick is creepy. Like,
why don't you switch seats with me?
Artie is just the best bro. He's a fucking bro. To do damage control for Howard because he knows. But the bottom line is Howard's not too broken up because he got his bonuses. He got his money. It doesn't matter anymore. This doesn't affect him. And Artie got nothing. Deep down, that's really all he cares about.
You ought to do the show. I mean, we would clearly do much better if you were running things.
Yeah. Oh, my God. We'd rule the universe. He's a 71% rating.
Thank you, Pellel. Yeah, Opie and Anthony is a show we're going to do. They have a lot of contributions during the move to Sirius where they were really calling him out on all the lies way before anybody else was. And we just weren't listening. We just weren't listening to them. They were on XM. They were kind of buried on XM. They had got the 2-year banishment. They got paid for being off the air for 2 years. They came back in 2004 and then started to piss on Howard with no shackles, on XM. And we just didn't listen to them. And they were spot on and prophetic about everything they said.
21% likability, Artie Lang.
You see, all this fucking thing does is get me shit on the show.
It's a Howard Stern show, and I'm the shithead.
Thank God Artie's here.
Right. Thank God, man. Don't you ever leave.
Well, either God.
Let me tell you
God might take me.
Let me tell you my heroin horror stories then, if that's what you like.
Well,
now you hear that slip in? Let me tell you my heroin horror stories. Because that's the only reason you're on the show is we can use your derelict, crazy Artie stories because I have none and I won't share my. Like he's saying, it's the ultimate insult to Artie. It's saying you are nothing but eating. I'm going to fat shame you and I'm going to heroin, as the blacks say, right, Crazy Robin? Heron shame you. You're only good for heroin story, which we all know Artie is a super talented, charismatic comedian. The fat thing, make him thin. He's an impressionist. He tells great stories. He can act. He doesn't need to be the fat guy. He's just as talented without it. And so that is the biggest fucking insult he just made. All you are to me is a heroin shamer. And I'm going to exploit that until you attempt Suicide Day in late 2009. And I'm not going to invite you back. I'm going to have Tim Sabian fire you because I'm too much of a pussy to do it myself. Yes, Emily Ratajkowski is a bankrupt reference. JJ Thrash, that is a great one by you. So true. We need more models besides Emily Ratajkowski. Why is she the only model, by the way? Overrated as hell. And she's my type too, the dark hair and everything. But I don't know. She just is massively overrated, JJ Thrash. You're right.
Like, see, people love a guy who's flawed.
Yeah, really why don't you get on heroin?
Yeah, that's an idea.
That makes you more likable.
Heroin and drugs is the least likable thing about Artie. It's the last reason I like him. I could care. My fandom for him has nothing to do with that. I like the drinking, but that's fine. We all drink. The drug stuff is the least interesting thing about him. I could care less. It is totally so patronizingly disrespectful that he doesn't have talent which he very much does, in my opinion, and it is subjective. I know he has his detractors.
Shared by Artie and Gary. Funny and kooky wacky are qualities we would hope to see associated with the Howard TV brand.
There's nothing worse, that B word, there's nothing worse than Howard thinking he has a brand and he sits at home planning his precious brand, and him and Buckwalder plotting it, and Ralph is every tendril, every is calculated. Every follicle is manufactured and calculated. And that's what he does. He thinks he has, what is this precious brand? Please explain it. I always thought, I've been saying on Gunk for years, what is this show about? Who is this for? What is this? It's obviously for Howard to work as little as possible, collect all the money, and have no account. What is this brand? What is your brand? Please, if I can get it together circadian rhythm wise, I will call the Stern Show and I'm going to ask Howard, what exactly is your brand? Please spell it out. Please explain to me what this precious brand you're cultivating. I want you to tell us what it is. I'm begging you.
Clearly has his fans and enemies. He is still a well-known personality with polarizing appeal who comes across as rude.
Harry and Artie are funny, and I'm not.
One of my favorite things to do with Howard TV is look in the background. So I'm kind of like watching it with a dog whistle, and you'll see someone like run behind the. If you look in the latest years, just before they took it away, you can sometimes. I had it somewhere. Marcy Turk will scurry by, and they don't want her on camera in any way, shape, or form. So the last, say, year of Howard TV, she's kind of hanging around in the back office, and that is fun to see if you can spot her, because she'll dash in the background and you'll see like who the hell is that broad? Who is that fucking ginger snatch broad? And it's Marcy.
Let me remind people of my Ted Kennedy impression. I'm going to take that out right now. Let's settle the fucking score.
Gary is funny. The people think what the people think.
Artie, the results are in. The public has voted.
Well, I'm insulted as a comedian that people think Gary's funny too.
He's not as.
Yeah, Artie hates Gary getting paid more than him and going. Where'd he go again with Nick DiPaolo? And was it the Middle East? Was it Iraq? Melvin, G Canada says, Melvin, it's always worse. My wife hated Howard. Now I have to hear, I told you so all the time. Oh, God, that's so true. G Canada, right? The I told you so's from the Howard detractors that hated him before you did, and you have to defend him all the time. That's such a good point. Howard will teach his fans when he pulls back on all the stuff he promised and jukes us all. And that comes very quickly, Pellel. He can't wait to cancel, get rid of Pharrell and Bubba, and he'll pocket all the money, and all those one-on-one shows eventually were all gone by, I think, 2012, 2013. He immediately went to calling Artie a drug addict. Immediately. The way they treated Artie eroded my interest in the show. So well said, Sunflower Dragon. I will always love Artie. So will I. I cannot hate him if I tried. I just don't. He gets this weird pass for me, and I haven't really. I think he tweeted something, but hopefully he's just found some kind of peace. I don't think he's meant for show business. He's like too nice of a guy. He's too tortured, and I don't think he likes attention as much as we thought he did. He might be too good for show business, if you know what I mean. Bill Cosby did have a charisma back when JK status. You got to go back to the 80s for it.
Funny. Like I'm looking at, I guess they threw out a bunch of buzzwords and they give you the top 5, percentages. So Artie's number one thing is funny, and then next people.
G Canada, the bonus, that's the third bonus he sued for. He got 2 bonuses before the lawsuit with CBS for not getting. He wanted to take credit. That's a whole different show, possibly, is the merger. So when XM merged with Sirius, he took credit. He wanted to take credit for the subscribers that were now going to count for Sirius, as if he brought. So if you're like, all you do is subscribe to Sirius because you're like, say, a Arizona Diamondbacks fan and you live in Pennsylvania and you want to listen to Diamondback games, he took credit for Major League Baseball on the radio, merging with Sirius and the NFL channel and the NBA channel. And the golf channel is a fucking Hockey Channel, NHL Channel. And so Howard took credit for all the things that merged. So if you have no interest in him whatsoever, he wanted you to count that as a subscriber that goes to him. And that was his argument, which is absolutely so stupid. And somehow Buchwald didn't write the contract up where that would cover. They covered everything but that. But he had already gotten to the tune of $300 million in additional bonuses, and that still wasn't enough. On top of the $100 million he was already getting a year. That's how greedy he is. And the guy who made those bonuses possible already didn't get a cent. That's how greedy he is.
People thought he was talented, then kooky and wacky, then a distinctive voice, and the last thing on his list is rude. Your top thing is rude. See, you're rude and creepy, and I'm creepy and rude.
Wow, good.
You didn't get talented?
No,
you didn't get funny?
He didn't even get talented. The guy who gets all the money, who is the host, the word talented doesn't even come up. That's how, it's not a question.
Well, my psychiatrist is going to get an earful today.
Your psychiatrist that Sirius no doubt pays for, as a matter of fact. You wish you had Crazy Robin as a therapist. You wish.
In this, I go, that's some research, and I'm so happy that
Crazy Robin is my Dr. Melfi, by the way, the black Dr. Melfi.
he sent it to me. I can't tell you.
Yeah, what are you going to do with that?
Dr. Melvin.
Gee, isn't this a good report? I suck. I'm a creep.
Who do you think for that information?
Why did they pick us anyway?
Doug Goodstein forwarded it to me so I can feel good about myself. Yeah, some things can be a secret.
Yeah, Melvin, that was my favorite. That was my first YouTube upload, was the Gary's Father's Funeral saga. And that's made the rounds. I think people have stolen it from me without my permission and uploaded, which is fine. It'd be nice if you told me you were doing it. One of these. And yeah, I was really proud of that one. That was I think it's the first thing I ever made. And then I made the Howard Dine and Dash, the skeleton twins leaving Gary's party that Mary threw. And that was 2007. And that showed what a piece of shit Howard was then. And he left before dinner was served. He was screaming, "Beth!" in the other room. That was, yeah, I was proud of that one. I think it was the second one I made. Howard is a gay man, says Crazy Robin. Yes, he is. And always has been. He lives a closeted life. Howard is not funny. Spot on.
Around here.
I would bury that report. When I read that last time, I'm going, this is not a good thing.
Somehow Fred evades accountability during this too. Fred somehow not mentioned here. Like, he just is always, he's never on the radar. It's unbelievable. Let's do it. Let's do a Fred survey. This is why we need to roast. Maybe Fred's roast will be first. Maybe that's the first one we'll do. Just to put a fucking Klieg light on Fred. I think that might be the first one we do. The Fred roast.
Yeah, he sent it to everyone. Yeah, a douchebag.
There are sometimes when you don't need to see that report.
Doug, it's not going to help me when I have my big meeting today and tell people that they're not funny and that they need to do this and they need to do that.
Excuse me, what does Artie think?
No, it's great. What's great about that report, he has all the attributes for a Howard TV brand. Gary has all the attributes for a Howard TV brand.
But Howard doesn't.
The guy who's Howard TV does not have the attributes for.
I got to give Fred credit here. He's making my point for me. So you got Howard TV, and the least interesting guy on it is the guy who gets all the money. Artie's featured in every video, doesn't make a cent off Howard TV. That had to drive him crazy.
Brand. Gary has all the attributes for a Howard TV brand.
But Howard doesn't.
The guy who's Howard TV does not have the attributes for his own brand.
You can't be on your own station.
You can't be on your own station.
He's creepy.
Melvin, I love it. Camilla the Catstronaut, the high school years. Sarah did the math on a Deppening. I think it was like a couple weeks ago. That Camilla's actually in 5th grade. She's supposed to be in 5th. It's so cute. She's like we celebrated her birthday, I think, on the show. And Camilla's age is considered, she's going into 5th grade. It's so cute. This is why Howard made it his way. They only praise him. What an empty way to live. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so the next thing we're going to play here, and I went back into October of 2004. This is the announcement of Sirius, and he does this move where I'm sure you're all annoyed by it. It is, by the way, I'm looking at the date of it, one day after that contract that I just read for the bonuses. So this is October 6th, 2004, he comes on the air and says, this fake, prisoner of the FCC, and I'm a victim, and they're after me. And he comes on now, and I'm going to satellite radio, and he makes this announcement, which I'm sure has been in the hopper for well over a year.
The announcement.
Let me make my announcement.
Now, bear with me. I tried to edit this. He does that annoying fucking thing where he teases shit to stretch it out for the show, and he takes these huge pauses in the stupid timpani. And so I swear to you, I tried to edit this to the best of my ability to get to the meat.
All right, enough with the timpani.
Everybody in the office.
Not a big announcement enough for timpani.
Gary just about to go. Gary goes, everybody's in the office. Everybody back there in the office. Do you guys think that the staff knew about this, and they're pretending that Howard's so mysterious we didn't know anything, and just to like appease to he thinks he's like, Mr. Chess Player, and I'm so mysterious, and you don't know what I'm gonna do. And I think I think all the Buckwald clients knew. I think Robin and Fred both knew.
Everybody in the office on pins and needles. Rumors flying like crazy.
Rumors flying. Well, rumors flying. Well, don't.
I won't. I was saying everyone's got a different idea on what the big announcement might be.
That's funny, G-Can. That's exactly how the conversation went. Tim Sabian goes to Howard and goes, Howard, look, my dad's dying. I need some time. He's in hospice. He goes, no problem, Tim. I got all the time you need. You're fired. That's exactly how it went. Like, it's not even harsh. That's exactly how it went.
Give you the headline in the Post tomorrow: Stern gay.
Anyone here? How you think there's some Freudian slip there? Artie slipping in a gay comment? Listen to this again. I kept this in deliberately.
Everyone's got a different idea on what the big announcement might be.
I'll give you the headline in the Post tomorrow: Stern gay.
You have no idea how true that
And
is.
it's depressing to me. And I want to say Viacom has done a miraculous job of supporting me. They have not backed down. Clear Channel, bunch of scumbags, back down to the government.
So you guys remember that whole Clear Channel thing where he's like, taking me off, and the stuff Howard wanted to stay on, they were censoring, was so stupid. I remember going, I don't care about it. It was always the most lowbrow, wretched shit, and he wants to talk. I could care. You talk about anal sex, I could care less if they drop it. I could care less. The stuff he was complaining about, I remember just thinking, that's what you're fighting for? And it was all a big infomercial to move to Sirius, that he would pretend to be so put out and so annoyed, and so would we listening to him. They wouldn't even tell you what they were censoring. And it was usually just a lowbrow garbage that you hated. I remember not giving a shit about what they dropped. Ed Air Dave, you remember the whole thing.
Viacom, under the great Sumner Redstone, Mel Karmazin, who was here for all these years and now no longer is here. And I have to say, since Mel has left, Leslie Moonves has been...
Mel Karmazin is like the... How do I put this? The Rocky Blyer to Howard's Franco Harris. Franco Mark Harris. It is just... He's always with him. Karmazin joined Sirius, I think, after he got he's always gonna be there to protect him. And then if he doesn't have Karmazin, he has your Sabians or your Chiasanos. And they're all afraid of Karmazin.
Fabulous to us. He has given us as much freedom as he can under the circumstances. And Leslie and Joel Hollander have put us on in 7 new markets, I think it is. Or I think this guy, Colin Powell, his son, Michael, it's a joke.
Yeah, I used to have that on my YouTube channel. Michael Powell, Colin Powell's son, was the head of the FCC. And they had this, Howard called this, I think it was a San Francisco radio station. And he kind of ambushed Michael Powell, and he wasn't rattled by him at all. And he was trying to do this thing where he's shutting him down, and I'm your key target. And Michael Powell's like, no, I don't really think about you that much, Howard. Get over yourself. And it was like, it was good radio, but it was so grandiose. And my favorite part about was Artie during the thing goes, the guy kept, because it was terrestrial radio, the argument, the guy kept trying, the poor guy, I think his name was, damn it, I forget the name of the host. He was a nice enough guy, but he's like a generic host. It was just, and he kept going. He's like, Look, guys, this is a great segment. We got to pay some bills. We got to pay some bills. We got to go. And he just kept trying to go to a commercial, and they wouldn't listen to him. So then his name was Ron something or other. I forget. Ron Owen. That's his name with fucking 2 N's. Ron Owen was his name. And they go, so Ron Owen calls into the Stern Show the next day to talk about it. And 10 seconds into the call, Artie goes, "Hey, Ron, we got to pay some bills. We got to go to a break." And I don't know if I was the only one to catch it, but that was the genius of Artie in that callback. It's like, "Ronnie, we got to pay some bills." And it was 10 seconds into the fucking call. I remember rewinding it like 15 times. Yeah, Ron and Fez, Brendan and Melvin. Bennington was really good in his own. I didn't know what Fez did on that show. I didn't understand. I didn't listen to a ton of them. I did a good prank call once as Depp. I called Ron Bennington. I'll play that some other time. Jackie was the guest, and I pretended I was Depp, and they believed me. And I talked about that Emily Stern was Nancy was her idol, and that's inspired her music career. But I like Bennington. I just never understood what Fez did. I never heard him. It would seem like he was not there or something. Thank you, Sunflower. Thank you, Sunflower. Arm is a cuddly bear. I've never had that said. You'd actually have to be able to love Devastated by the Loss. Howard is a true narcissist.
I don't think it's fair what's going on. But the way we do radio now, I know I have 15 months left on my contract, and I had said to my agent, and I sat down with him in a meeting, and I've had, lots of conversation about it. I said, I don't really want to go on with radio anymore.
This on the same day that Rodney died?
Yeah, Rodney Dangerfield apparently dies. I can't believe it's 20 years ago. Rodney, this whole thing is 20 years ago.
Good Lord.
But I'm ready. I was approached by Sirius satellite radio. And they began to talk to me about what they were building for the future. But I really wasn't convinced.
That's a good name, Gammon Man. Bluff Daddy. That's excellent.
5 years ago, I considered going to satellite radio. I was approached. The timing.
Okay, let's do the math, guys. 5 years ago, I was approached by satellite radio. So he's telling us 1999, there's some semblance, a whiff of satellite radio. Do you believe that they would come to him unestablished? Did anyone have satellite radio in 99? Did you know it existed? Where was this? Who had satellite fucking radio in 1999? Did Martian Manhunter fucking set it up? Who? I don't buy that at all.
It wasn't right for a bunch of reasons. Radio right now is a business.
It's not.
It's not a business. People don't take it seriously. It's like college radio.
Yeah.
Thank you. Howard wishes his show was college radio now. I'll take fucking Stony Brook radio at 2:00 in the morning on a Sunday night over the current Stern show in a heartbeat. Thank you, Pellel. I love Arm's coinage of Castle Gayskull. Yes, I'm proud of that one too. Thank you, Pellel. Nice reference. And call
2 days ago, I signed a contract with Sirius Radio, Sirius Satellite Radio.
There's Brendan's first wrestling reference, unless I missed one. Pat Patterson is when I first started watching wrestling, Pat Patterson was the color commentator with Vince McMahon. It was like the earliest. I remember my favorite wrestler was The Rock's dad, Rocky Johnson, and apparently he's this huge homo, and I didn't know that. And he doesn't come off as, I don't know if David's gaydar would go up, but he's apparently a huge fruit basket, and had a Me Too, and Sarah knows about it. Brendan and Sarah are the same person. She is the female Brendan, and he is the male Sarah.
Wow. I signed a deal that will start in 2006 as soon as I'm done here, and I will move to satellite radio.
So, do you guys think, there's the announcement, do you think that Chiasano knew about this? I say absolutely not. And I think the executives right now are plotting to, what are we going to do about this? And I got some theories on the lawsuit with CBS. I think not only were they mad about him using their air as an infomercial, and he claims they let him, which I don't buy at all. I think they were really mad. And I think when the law, and I'm going to repeat this later because it bears repeating, that when, I'm sure a lot of you people remember, in 05, late 05, before he went to Sirius, and at Sirius for a great deal of a few months in there, all he did was piss on Free FM and have this like FM and Freud about his old channel. You're there, you got all the money. Why do you care what David Lee Roth's doing? And all he did was shit on David Lee Roth and Free FM and Adam Carolla in the West and fucking, what was it, Snuggler or whatever in the middle, and shits on all the CBS hosts that replace him. What do you care? Right? You won. You got all the money. You have no rules. Why do you care what David Lee Roth's doing? So all he would do was shit on David Lee Roth and shit on Carolla and shit on Rover. And I think the executives all got really pissed at him. You know, we were supposed to have a clean split, and you're here, and we wished you well, and we gave you $1 million party send off in December of 05, and you're fucking shitting on us and all that we did for you. So I think that they decided, well, we're going to play this. We got the supernova blast from the Human Torch, and we're going to sue him. We have the evidence. We told them no more. And I believe that's when they decided to lower the and bring in the heavy hitter the lawyers to sue him, because I think if he didn't bash Free FM and all his replacements, right? That no one's allowed to have a career but him, is how he framed it. David Lee Roth does that. Yeah, we got it. He's not as good as you. He just started 2 months. We got it. The show's not as good. We got it. Of course. Even if it was, he wouldn't admit it. And I think that really precipitated the executives to go hard after him, because I think it helped destroy Free FM, which it would have folded anyway, but much quicker than they thought.
I would hope that my team will come with me if they want to.
Yeah, Horatius is a good point here, too. There's a lot of people. I knew these people. You talk about the Stern Show, and they'll say, well, I know that Beetlejuice, and I know Stuttering John was a guy that was like the face of the show in the 90s. You're like, oh, that Stuttering John guy who does the crazy interviews. They thought John was Howard, because like you would see him on the Channel 9 show, and or the E or something. And well, it's really the Channel 9 show ended and the E show started, but so John was almost like the default face of like what was great about the show, and people didn't care about Howard. They just cared about whack packers like a Beetlejuice, and some of the earlier ones that, Kenneth Keith Kallenbach. Where am I? What did it do here? Oh, it ended.
On the same day.
I'm going to the second clip. So this is the announcement to go to Sirius, and we're making a progression and working our way towards
this to anybody because of a bunch of reasons having to do with stock and stuff like that.
So now the whole insider trading thing, he's worried about stock. He knows exactly what he's going to pump and dump, and he's going to make another however money. And he has more stock than anybody has ever dreamed of in Sirius. And he knows he's going down the Martha Stewart road, and I'm sure he's been, the Martha Stewart, how do I put this, business model is what all these hucksters like him are trying to avoid. There's nothing greater in life than Howard going to jail. I think I would rather him lose all his money and go to jail than actually die. That would be so much fun to watch him penniless for a few years or in jail.
SEC, all that.
All that has been removed now? You can say this?
I can say it now because I've signed the deal. And
inform the people here?
No.
Oh.
Because there was no reason to. This is nothing to do. I'm not breaking my contract. I am going to finish out my contract here. But I am leaving. There's a signed deal. It's a done deal. It's not ideal is they have given me 3 channels to program.
Oh.
3 channels. My deal is they have given to the people that I'll be working.
Okay, y'all heard that, right? So he's lying already where, 3 minutes into the announcement, he's already pretending that he's going to do 3. He knows he's not going to do 3 channels. He can't even do 2, right? And his whole thing is, I got to get my audio archive because I don't want to work. I don't want to program the channels. I don't want to do more live radio. I need hosts, and I got to pay these hosts, and I don't want to pay them. And that, in his mind, he knows it's happening. So this 3rd channel never even came close to happening. That was just right out of the gate. He's lying already.
with. Not only have they made a commitment to me that is second to none, but they are allowing me for the first time.
Not only have they made a commitment to me, which is second to none, this is saying partner without saying it, but he does say it later. He actually uses the P word. Gary uses it as well.
Allowing me for the first time to program. And in fact, I'll be doing business with some people that some people I've been at odds with. I hope people join me.
So he's teasing there, which did happen, that Bubba's coming on. There's some people that I've been at odds with. And so, as you know, Bubba had the afternoon slot for a little. I told you guys that story that Adam Carolla was offered to replace Bubba, and he called Howard. Boff got me this clip, too. He was on Henry Rollins' IFC show, Carolla was, and he asked him why he never went to Sirius, and he talked about how Howard wouldn't pay anybody. It's a great clip. I have it somewhere. I'm not going to play it now. I'll play it next time. And Carolla was offered the afternoon slot, which made a lot of sense, right? That would have been good, even if he brought Dr. Drew in, and it never happened because Howard wouldn't pay him anything close to what he was worth. And that's how and then that never got replaced, and Howard just kept the money. I think Bubba said it was only $300,000 that his entire staff got paid to do that afternoon show. It was 4 hours too, wasn't it? Like it went from 3 to 7, and then the 101 show came on, like the 1 hour 101 show came on, like Superfan Roundtable.
I hope you join me, and if you don't, well, then it'll be a nice 15-month farewell.
You don't mean that.
They sat me down and they said, "Look."
Okay, so he just said, nice 15-month farewell. So he's already admitted, I'm going to do nothing but promote this. It's going to be an infomercial, which CBS does not. Why would CBS want him to do this? Why would CBS go along with it? Why would any executive worth their salt tells him, yeah, go ahead, drag all our listeners to satellite radio. We don't want any, all our advertising executives. Yeah, they don't need to sell advertising. We're good. We'll implode and destroy this whole infrastructure. We're good. Please just take. Why would anybody agree with that? It'd be like if Chris Mad Dog Russo on WFAN, which he did go to Sirius. If WFAN said to Russo, yeah, please, Chris, just promote Sirius the whole show with the mic. Tell everybody you're going. He said he went and dropped it, but he spent every waking. Why would any executive go along with that? And he's shocked that they want to sue him.
And they said, "Look, you're everything to this business." Now, I mean, I haven't even told my parents this news yet. I was tempted to tell them, but they told me that you can't because it could affect the stock price. That, if I breathed the word of this to anyone, and they went out and bought Sirius stock, then I would be joining Martha Stewart.
You know, he's bringing up Martha Stewart here. So he told all his friends. Ralph knew. You can't trust anything this guy says.
Joining Martha Stewart. Bought Sirius stock, then I would be joining Martha Stewart.
That makes sense.
Right.
So Robin didn't know.
No one knew.
So this is my big
no.
There's not a shot in hell Robin didn't know. She's a Buckwall client, and Fred knew too. There's no way the Buckwall clients didn't know. He gets a shot. He gets Robin's whatever. She gets $12 million. Buckwall gets $1.2 million out of Robin's salary. There's not a shot in hell they didn't know.
No one knows.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So you're telling me that Tom, sitting down the end of the hall, is hearing this for the first time?
Yes. And he hasn't run in here.
No, I could have, listen, I thought of a million different ways to do this. I could have, 2 nights ago, I sat and tried to figure out how to do this. And I sat with Don Buchwald and the people from Sirius, and I said, how should we do this? I'm looking at the technology.
Big announcement, everyone. Sarah, I need to take a break with my dumb mouth, is going to be on the next show. This is for Johnny Bye-Bye.
President Trump summoned the mob, assembled the mob, and lit the flame of this attack.
This is for Johnny Bye-Bye, who's done all this great work for us. He's got me so many great ebooks and everything else.
I say this to my Republican colleagues who are defending the indefensible. There will come a day when Donald Trump is gone, but your dishonor will remain.
Sounds like a match. Bedlam uses a substance called tar as a catalyst for turning abducted metagene kids into full-on metahumans.
So you heard it from here. Sarah claims she's going to be on the next show, and I can't wait. She's such an underrated sternathologist. She knows a ton, and she kind of holds back. And there's Chief Phony Feathers for the first time. Welcome, Chief Phony Feathers.
It is awesome. A great group of guys. I really admire these guys.
A great group of guys until you didn't get your third bonus, and now they're pieces of shit. Rumor has it, Arm, what is this? Used to walk through the Radio Gunk headquarters in the same way. Yes. Yes, RK. I had my security clear a path. Do I hear Bon Jovial breathing?
Oh, I'm back. Sorry about that.
Play another Pelican Brief drop, if you would.
If I'm a publicist, I'm not sitting and thinking about the Howard Stern show. We should be blasting it on Twitter.
You got all the good ones. You got all the cute.
Well, that's just the first 20 minutes or so. So there's another 20. So that was, I really blew my load, so to speak, with them. I should have saved them because now we've heard them all. But I was going to send you a few, and then I thought, no, I want I want to surprise you, John. I've been listening.
Breathing a little bit.
I know I did a little. I came back. And
I might be blind, but I make up for it with mediocre hearing. So I did hear that.
Oh, I'm back. I've been. I did check for you when you were talking about satellite radio. So the inception of satellite radio. So the concept had its origins in the late 80s, and then it was XM who
was the first.
Brought it in
DC, in Washington, DC.
In 1999, so or 1998.
By the way,
so
I love
there you go. You're correct. Yeah.
You Aussies, when you say 19, 17, 14.
14.
Yeah.
Yep. I can teach. What we could have another thing we could do on this show is have a segment where I could try and teach you how to talk Australian. See, I'll teach you how to say water. Are you ready? So you say war, and then
water.
Everything like that has a daughter.
Yes. I told you that. I mean, not just you. You're one of the great things to come out of the country, but some of the best actors in Hollywood come out of Australia. I mean, literally,
there's been a
tier. Yeah, I say that.
In the 90s, late 90s, mid 90s, they started getting in, and it was crazy. And they put on impressive. Margot Robbie is an Aussie chick. She lives. There we go.
You heard it here first. Yeah, your dog's a huge Margot Robbie fan. Harley Quinn is the name of your dog.
I'll be right back.
Margot Robbie might be the top female actress, right, in terms of demand after the Barbie shit and certainly Harley Quinn. And I'm not saying anything profound, but I think it's a weird landscape right now in entertainment, in the world of acting, film acting and shit, and who's what. She might be the number one female they desire, I bet, in terms of, and I'm not saying money wise, but in terms of her name comes up for everything now. I'm going to go with that. Sarah is going to be on the next episode. You see it here. She agreed to do it. We can't wait. Everybody loves him some Sarah. This is no doubt. So that's something to look forward to for everyone.
How's Sarah?
A year or so, like kind of hearing thoughts and.
That end? The clip end? Okay. So we're going to go to 3.
Sarah hates Stern though, so
but this is when she listened. This is when she was a big listener.
Okay.
So this is the.
I mean, you don't pay any extra for it. It's just a channel.
Okay, this is him huckstering. This is the salesman here. He's doing his huckstering. His sales. He just announced it, and he's selling a year and a half.
Not premium. You don't pay any extra for it. It's just a channel.
Oh, really? That's great.
And you will have our show, and I'm going to invite some other performers to join me on that channel.
And you intrigued me when you said even people that you may not have gotten along with in the past.
Yes.
Well, that would probably mean, he'd have to.
That could be almost everybody else in the business.
That part is
really exciting.
This is the first time in my career, not only can I use my name for myself, but I would like to embrace.
When has he not used his name for himself? Every move he makes is self-serving and self. When has he ever done anything for anybody, including his family?
Where did he come up with that comment?
Oh my God!
What does he say? What does he say after that?
I know.
Does he elaborate?
Yeah, I just wanted to stop it there. Thank you, Brendan. Thank you,
Perfect
Brendan.
spot.
Fuji Vice, by the way, is a Mr. Fuji and Don Morocco had a drama show on WWF Primetime in the late '80s. It's the funniest thing in the world.
Some other performers.
Right. Wow. I mean, that's really exciting.
I tried doing that here. I tried to start a Howard Stern radio network, and for whatever reason, because of government interference and everything else, everyone said, well, you can't do it. And all these other stations that we're on, they have other programming. They're not going to buy your afternoon show. They're not going to buy your morning show. They're not going to buy that show. They're not going to buy this show.
You can't completely supplant somebody else's program.
This show will be commercial free that you're speaking of?
I don't know the answer to that.
You see what I just read?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so I just read the contract. He's known about this contract for weeks and weeks and weeks, probably months. In the contract we just read, there will be commercials. And Gary admitted what it was at PCP had that great comment before. He knows he's lying to you already. We've caught him in 5 lies already. He doesn't know if there's going to be commercials. We just read it in black and white in the contract. He knows full fucking well. If he says there is, he knows there's a potential he could lose hundreds, if not thousands of listeners that said, well, you're doing the same show. Why am I going to pay for radio? That's unheard of.
Yep.
And you're going to commercials? Huh?
God.
I don't know the answer to that. There might be some sponsors as well.
Crazy Robin confirms that heroin in the black community is called heron. Heron. I learned that from Snowfall.
Which will afford us the time to at least prepare during the spots.
I was going to say, I mean, it's on.
I think it will blow your mind. And also a third channel.
There's the third channel again, which do I have to go into how that never materialized? Do I really have to go into it?
You should. Why not? Because you might have some listeners.
I said it
here
before.
who
I had a
just
whole rant
never
about
listened
it
to Stern. Okay.
So he has two Howard 100 and 101, and I think he kept this lie going for about 5 months that he was going to come up with a third channel, and it wasn't even like teased. It was just a lie to get you to pay for his shit. And it wasn't even just the subscriptions. It was the equipment. It was the stiletto and the star, all that absolute tchotchke junk you can't prop a door open with now is what he was selling. And he got a cut of the equipment. Remember he was holding a fucking boombox over his plug head like Radio Raheem? I have that too, by the way. I have the last day in the hopper.
Which will be a premium channel.
Mm-hmm.
Which I would like to talk about also, and why it would have to be a premium channel. But I know some things, but yeah.
Is there a day part?
Yes.
So he's talking about the time period, like what time are you going on? He knows exactly what he's doing. He's like, I don't know, we're not really sure.
Yes, we will be the morning show, and that show will be repeated later in the day as well. Especially for different time zones.
All right, I got a big question, and you may not be able to answer this. How many years did you sign the contract for with Sirius?
5-year commitment. Wow. It shows you my level of commitment.
Yeah.
I will.
What a guy. What a sport. $500 million. I'll commit to 5 years. What a guy. Man,
he's acting like it's charity work.
Yes, he's doing you a favor by going to Sirius. Now he's getting nothing out of it.
Die together.
Listen, the commitment they made to me, no one on this kind of radio has ever made this kind of commitment. I'm talking about, it's not like I'm working for people.
You know what?
It's like I am.
For you.
Okay, did you hear that?
Oh, yes. I mean,
right, so there's another partner drop. It's not like I'm working for people. Let's do this again. It's not like I'm working for people. Did you just hear it? Do I have to spell this out?
It's not like I'm working for people.
You know what?
It's like I am.
For you.
It's like
this is what should have happened to you.
It's like I am. I own it.
This is what should have happened to you
years ago.
Years and years ago. That you should have been the kind of person that studios come to, companies come to, and say, let's build something for you because of what you've done for this industry, much like they do for an Ivan Reitman in Hollywood.
Sirius said to me,
ridiculous.
You're our Michael Jordan, you're our General Motors, you're our everything.
Oh, wow.
So does it all make sense now that Richard can streak through a compound that's not theirs in front of women with his fucking hick dick flapping around and not get fired. And the best part about that, and I can't wait to cover that, is it got back to Howard. So Richard's sitting there going, "You're throwing me under the bus. Howard told me to do it. Howard told me." He's like, I did not tell you to," which we all saw it. He told him to do it. And it showed right there. There's so much there that he had no accountability.
You're
the cornerstone.
You're the cornerstone of this, and you are radio. And we go ahead.
Well, first of all, congratulate all of you.
Okay, this is Dominic Barber. This is like one of the last times he's ever on the air. And Dominic is the first guy he goes to. I left this in for a reason. I can't remember what he says. It's been a long 3 days making all these. And then we're going to do certainly a part 2. We got a lot to get to. This is fun. There's a lot of shit here, I feel. And you need to be educated, you humanoids, about what happened back then. I'm just kidding. All the time, Artie was making, about 900. Yeah, Howard makes 90. Right, you're right, Jay. And then 300 million in bonuses by 2007. Look at Tusanu Okashi. I missed you too, Okashi. Was that the Revenge of the Nerd Asian character's name? Takasha or Okashi or something like that? Is that what I love that.
If you're right, John, if you're right, I'm going to be
It's close to that.
impressed.
I don't think it might not be right, but it's close to that.
I have no clue. It seems very obscure. See,
Beth lives better than all of Sirius combined, Pellel. Her shoe closet is like, you could take the second richest host and her shoe closet's worth more than their house.
Thank you. That's right.
It's all going to happen. It's not going to take 5 years. It's going to take 2 years, and the stock is going to go nuts at 9 o'clock.
You don't think Dominic Barber was investing in Sirius right there and then?
Yeah. Oh, and he sucks up. It's lovable. You can't help but love him. It's just, he was so entertaining.
Monique has a relationship with the Barbers and Leslie Barber, and we'd love to ask Dominic again if she can get it out of him about the stock stuff with him back then.
Is he still living? I thought he was
we'd know
not
if he was
living.
dead. He was considered like a celebrity attorney for a while. He represented Joey Buttafuoco, and he was without. Isn't it amazing he didn't represent Howard against Allison, though? Right? You would think he would have been the guy. He had nothing to do with it. They didn't use him. I think it was like a conflict of interest. Speaking of, I showed you that, right? So I showed Bon and I showed a few people this. I pulled up Allison Stern's LinkedIn, and she's a licensed therapist in Roslyn Heights. And her stint as a therapist, she became active in 1997, and that's exactly when I proposed that they broke up. He didn't announce their divorce until the fucking fall of 99. I traced it back to Stuttering John's wedding because Monique had the video, and Howard and Allison didn't go to the wedding. And my theory was they had broken up by then, and they couldn't show up at the beach party because they would have known. So how could Howard not have gone? Robin was there. Ralph was there. Dominic was. How could Howard have not gone to John's wedding? Because
it's very compelling. It's probably accurate for sure.
And then Allison becomes the therapist the same month as John's wedding.
Know if it will or not, and
just 10 to 9.
Phone line open.
But
already bought the stock. However,
all of us will be coming except Dominic.
Oh, we're not having Dominic on the air ever again?
He's the only.
Okay, so now we're going to move on to Chauncey Hayden, which I believe is the best clip here, in my opinion. I mean, it's all subjective. We got Donald Trump as well.
Oh, beautiful.
Trump does a great job. Yeah. So this is Chauncey. Chauncey is part of the media from Steppin' Out magazine, and there's nothing more only George magazine rivals Steppin' Out magazine. So Chauncey's here, and he gets off some very, very hard-hitting questions about the move, and it's not softball at all. He's coming at him, and he makes him admit that he's a partner.
Oh, do this. I can't wait.
What do you want to ask? One question about what I've announced.
Look at your list and pick the most important question.
Your question to me is, can you have two questions?
And your
answer is? The answer is no.
No.
That's it. That's your one question. You blew it.
My question is this. How do you know that the FCC or some other governing party won't eventually censor satellite radio? I mean, you can be going...
They won't, and I'll tell you why they won't. Because there is no way that you can make the argument that something people pay for. This is not the public's airwaves.
Well, this is Howard about to go into how his show is just like HBO. He's taking, when it's convenient, he's HBO.
That's something people bring into their home voluntarily. They would have to eliminate pornography. They would have to eliminate newspapers. HBO, the entire cable industry, if that's the case.
Okay, let's compare him to porn. You're watching a porn, everyone's favorite porn, right? And 15 minutes in, as soon as he's fluffed, they go to a commercial. How would that work? So he goes to commercial. He's comparing himself to porn and HBO. Do you know any porns you've ever watched that have gone to a commercial right in the middle of something? Yeah,
Nah,
I don't either.
no way.
They'd have to regulate everything. Books, you name it.
Whores. So you don't think it's possible?
It's not possible.
All right, let me ask you another question.
If they do it...
That was your one question.
Well, let's hear his other question.
All right.
Because I'm assuming now the show is going to get more adult. You'll have no restrictions. You can do things that you normally couldn't do in the past. You've said to me...
Chauncey, I'm not you.
Right.
You got an internet radio show where you could do everything, and all you did was...
You hear that one? Chauncey is an innovator. He had the first podcast. That was called internet radio back then. That's a podcast. We called it internet radio. And he was a lunatic. Oh, you loser. You have an internet radio show. That's a podcast. And we just didn't call it that. Do you remember Chauncey had that internet radio show? Yeah. I did wear out a lot of cassette tapes, G Canada. I actually used a VHS tape when I figured out that you could
I love the
wire
VHS tapes.
6 hours.
This is what...
Bang
I'm not saying that.
I'm in the game to make people laugh.
I'm not saying that. Hear me out. Is there any concern that you said this to me once before, that Beth sometimes has an impact on what you do on the show? Because you can do more. I'm not saying that you're going to be banging girls on satellite radio, but the show...
My language can be whatever I want it to be. It's not about banging a girl.
There won't be more nudity? There won't be more
How could you have any more nudity?
Yeah,
She's
nude is
naked.
nude.
Howard doesn't know what to tell Chauncey about why the show's better. Like if I'm listening to this and Chauncey's doing a great job, he's such an underrated part of the show back then. I'm going, why am I subscribed? You're on in the morning, which I don't want. I would rather move to the afternoon with way better energy. What are we getting? He really can't explain it here.
Yeah.
It would be great if it was the exact same show without the bleeps.
The only reason there's not more nudity today is because Natalia won't take her bottoms off.
Yeah.
And I might add, I love the dancing around the sensors and dancing around. I don't need cursing. I don't care about that. I love what they would play around with the. There was a clever aspect to that, to dance around what the sensors wanted. I love that. I could.
Someone left a great comment on a YouTube video like ages ago saying, that was the best thing because it gave Howard someone to rally against.
Yeah.
His manager to not. He could argue, and they said Howard became. It didn't work anymore when Howard didn't have anyone to fight.
Exactly.
That's great. That's what made it, because he'd always go, I've got to get out of this contract, when they'd be bleeping him and the caller would call and say, you just cut out on the whatever coast I'm on. And then he'd go, oh, come on. And then he'd get them in and he'd go, I've got to get out of here. And you go, yes, I love that. I love that. You want him to be, because he's the underdog. That's what was good.
He's the professional martyr. He's always the victim. I offer that those callers could have been fake at the time. That he had them calling pretending that he was censored in Seattle. And I contend that they might have been fake.
Nothing would surprise us now.
Nothing surprises me anymore. He needs his ego. Everyone's worthless. Yeah, right. Pelel, right. Everyone's worthless without him.
Finally,
I don't think you can get any more nude than that.
I am not. First of all, when you had your show, you let guys bang you. I'm not doing that.
That won't happen.
That's true.
That's slanderous. That won't happen.
Never?
No. Guys, no.
Haven't you had sex with men?
No.
Oh, that was someone else.
No, I don't think you
Isn't
would.
Natalia, in fact, a man?
I wish you had.
Well, how do you
By the way,
define
I
that?
interviewed.
No matter who's on this show, Howard's going to force them to be gay. He wants to know Please, I need to know if you've had a gay experience. I don't care. I'm going to force it out of you. I'm going to make Cabby pretend to be, it's all about, and we didn't, where were we on outing him at the time? That's all he cares about is gay sex antics from people who aren't gay and forcing them to be, so he feels better about his closeted homosexuality.
Sirius myself, so I wonder if you got the job over me.
Yeah, it was down between me and you.
Were they telling Chauncey he was the man?
They were until I came aboard. He was this close.
Chauncey had to serve his own dinner as well.
I know you used the dildo on yourself on your show. Is that correct?
I had a girl once try that to see.
All right, that's gay.
It was a girl.
That's what I meant.
No, having your prostate massage is not gay.
Oh.
Okay, Fruity.
She was not a doctor, Chauncey. She was a girl, and you would let her do bad things.
Many men enjoy that, so.
Yeah.
Right. And
Here comes a bomb.
They won't admit to it. They won't admit to it. Howard, my last question.
I could be having sex with every woman in here now, or not every woman, the ones that would want to, like Natalia over there has offered herself to me.
Mm-hmm.
But
Great point, Tendrils. Howard is his huge weakness is he cannot collaborate with anybody. He really can't. He just wants all the money. He can't take any kind of. He just. You're so right. That is an unheralded thing about how shitty he is. He's the worst collaborator on the planet.
that's not the show. You know that. You should know that.
Yeah, because it couldn't be.
What else do you want to know?
How many people?
There will be actual sex in the studio.
Lauren Marie with a comment. She says his show hasn't worked in years because he dropped his raunchy big mouth act, which spoke to a time when exploitation was acceptable, and is now showing his real personality, which is nothing. He pretty much is a neurotic miser. Yes, 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 Lauren Marie. Well said. Bravo.
Beautiful.
Your time, sure. I would like it.
That's going to bother Beth. That's going to bother Beth.
Not if I'm not having the sex. Not with me.
You don't think so?
No.
Why would it bother her?
Somebody else.
May I ask a question? Do you think if you're really going to have sex in the studio, it's not going to bother your private life?
I'm not going to have sex in the studio. Benji.
Why are you winking?
Thank you, Sarah, for donating to the cause. You're a big fan. Whatever this is the money version of incest. You know what? While we're here, I'm going to play this for Sarah because I know she wants me to play this. This is what this is a shameless plug, and I feel like a whore, but I have to do it.
Vinny, it's Mark. Dearest viewers, a new month and a new show. If able, please donate to the Arm Fund, which is how your host gets paid. Super Chat, Venmo, Cash App, or memberships. It all counts. We'll all go. Now put your face in the buttermilk and take a sip. Oh, I love the knee. Welcome to a new arm venture. How do you keep the music playing? How do you make it last? How do you keep the song from playing too fast?
It's not.
Benji will.
What, Bon?
It's not a shameless plug. I mean, I'm pretty sure you put in about 20 hours all up working on this, so it's not a shameless plug.
Yeah,
man.
it's probably
don't
around
feel like that. Like, you should watch some of these other hucksters and their podcasts. They have ads every 10 minutes or so. They have a whole 5-minute section of their show showing all their merch. And they're with them wearing it, and it's excruciating. But check your private chat just quickly, John.
With no, do you want to? Yes, Bon. Yes, right. As soon as, yes, I think the Chauncey thing is a great way to plug it to put a pin in it because this is such a great clip.
We offer Benji
My last question.
Yes.
There's a lot of concern in the hallway. I noticed it the second you made your announcement.
Why are you? That's the third question. Get out of here.
How many people can you take from your staff, and who's going to pay their salaries? And are they going to take a cut and pay? Are you going to take a cut and pay?
You know something?
Yeah, that's why you left, to take a cut and pay. I mean, really, think about
There's
that.
not as much.
So he's getting the money. This is Howard's. He cannot take a conversation about money, and Chauncey's not backing down.
Pay. I mean, really, think about
There's
that.
not as much money. Gary, he's building something. He's building something. Sometimes you have to take a cut and pay when you're building something.
I read between the lines. I'm not.
Here we go. Here comes the P word. Listen, everyone. Think I'm crazy?
Cut and pay.
I read between the lines. I'm not fighting with you. I read between the lines. Howard is not working for Sirius. Howard is partnering with, becoming almost like a partner with Sirius. He's
not almost.
He is a partner.
Yeah, he's part of. For once in his life, he's part of.
What was that?
There's no.
He's part of. For once in his life, he's part of the whole operation. So you own a part of Sirius Radio now.
I'm not answering financial questions by you.
That's a yes.
It gets really serious there. I'm not answering financial questions.
Right down. Thank you, Chauncey. Everyone should tweet Chauncey and tell him how great this is.
Look, I want this. I want to get Chauncey on now to get into this now. I don't know how to do that though.
Oh, come on. He likes
I think you'll need to contact him because he'll never have heard of me. But
he confided to me. Remember, he confided to me in DM about moving to Ireland to chase after his daughter, like a fucking Sons of Anarchy episode.
Holy crap!
4 a.m, Chauncey's DMing me. He's like, "Why is my wife following you? Why is my wife following you?" Like, what?
Wow, I love that. And so you had Stuttering John DMing you as well. These people become fascinated by you. That's part of the thing you have.
Sour Shoes DM'd me.
Oh my god!
It was so
Are you
bizarre.
serious?
Yeah, it was so bizarre. He just made no sense.
Really. I mean, you got Chauncey, Stuttering John, but somebody like Sour Shoes, that's fascinating.
I got to show you that. I just
give us the background of that. Did you leave a comment or something that he read, or?
I wrote him back, and I was like, I couldn't believe I heard you on NBA radio doing a John Sterling impression of bringing up Kevin Willis and Dominique Wilkins and Doc Rivers, and he kind of just didn't. He just, I hate saying ghost, but he just he's such a mental patient. He just didn't respond. But it was the weirdest thing. It was one Saturday morning. I was like hungover, and Sour Shoes called into NBA radio. The hosts were big Stern fans, and they contacted him to call in. And he was doing a John Sterling. John Sterling is a play-by-play announcer for the Yankees for a long time. But before that, he was the Atlanta Hawks play-by-play announcer. And he was doing it. It was so obscure. I couldn't believe.
It's a great story. It's a shame. I mean, if you replied to him, the likelihood of him he probably doesn't even remember the next day.
He won't even get back to Casey Armstrong.
Oh my God! Okay, then
he's so tough. I remember that clip Monique got him with Grillo that time on that Jackie Grillo and Monique got Sour Shoes on that time.
No.
Oh, you didn't hear that? I gotta play it. I gotta get that for next time. All right, let me wrap this up.
I'm not answering financial questions by you. I will talk to some members of the press, legitimate press, not that rag you run.
Up one more time.
It's becoming almost like
not as much money. Gary, he's building something. He's building something. Sometimes you have to take a cut and pay.
I read between the lines. I'm not fighting with you. I read between the lines. Howard is not working for Sirius. Howard is partnering with, becoming almost like a partner with Sirius. He's
not almost.
He is a partner.
Yeah, he's part of. For once in his life, he's part of the whole operation. So you own a part of Sirius Radio now.
I'm not answering financial questions by you. I will talk to some members of the press, legitimate press, not that rag you run.
This is for ABC News on Demand, by the way.
Oh, ABC News on Demand. You didn't say
Who's
that.
demanding?
That's not wrong. Chauncey was doing like freelance work for AB. I remember that. That's not wrong. So he actually was. They had him because he was such a muckraker that ABC brought him in briefly. And Chauncey turns on him mightily in our next episode, which is great. So that Chauncey exposes the insider trading stuff. So he goes on Neil Cavuto on Fox News, and he tells him that Howard is a con man, and he duped us all into telling us that and it's nothing what he promised, and that was the last time. And then the last time Howard's ever brought Chauncey. No, I'm sorry, he brought him up one more time after that, and that was Gary's dad's funeral. I think because Chauncey leaked the stories to the Daily News.
He was really unhappy about that. I remember that. Oh God.
So do you want to end this here? The next thing I'm going to is really good stuff too.
You've done a marathon.
Donald Trump screams at Sirius. I'm sorry, K-Rock CBS management for allowing Howard to promote Sirius for a year and a half. So he rips Howard, and he kind of doesn't rip Howard a new one. He rips management. How did they let you do this infomercial for a year and a half? And they got embarrassed by that, and that triggered them to also sue, in addition to Howard ripping, goofing on David Lee Roth every day, which must have killed them. Every day he's goofing on David Lee Roth.
And I've got a clip of when Chauncey was on with you and Monique and Grace in 2015, for some reason he just starts talking about Trump, and he plays you a clip of him talking to Trump.
Yeah,
Trump called him about a model. He didn't want this he's saying this story's crap.
I remember that.
It might be one of the funniest things I think I've ever heard. Your reaction, it's what Trump says. You and Monique and Grace, the laughing from you guys, it's so funny.
I had never heard Trump curse before. That was the first time I ever heard him curse. That was
me
what
too.
did it for me.
And it's so funny to hear him.
He'd always been on FM, and he'd always been on network. I'd never heard him curse before. That's what did it for me.
And I hear him talking to Chauncey. He's going, Chauncey, come on, man. And to hear him, it's so fantastic. That'll be played. It's a very short clip, but it's just to hear you guys laugh. I mean, I've never heard you. It's one of the funniest. You guys would almost dying. It's fantastic. And Chauncey, man, he was great value back then.
Sarah loves Chauncey, by the way. He's so every time I go after some salacious pushback, he's so ahead of his time. Like, he was onto him when we weren't. This is a long time ago. No one listened to him. Everybody dismissed him as some, stepping out, white trash piece of shit, North Jersey piece of shit. And he had all this stuff. He's a total imp. You know what an imp is? It's a troublemaker. It's just like constantly. And remember Scores? He wrote the book about Scores, and they fucking blew up his spot. He blew up Scores' spot. Yeah, it's so
strange that he just was not scared of Howard.
Not scared.
He just
of anything.
He was over it, and he just wanted to let him have it. It's fantastic.
Crazy Robin says it all. Here's her brother, a poor brother, paid for all that equipment, had the antennas installed and everything, and the sound the first day. Remember how bad I have, Crazy Robin, I have shows. I have full shows from the first days at Sirius, and it's just crackly, over modulated. I had to get a second batch, and I think Boff got it for me because they were so unlistenable. This is Sirius. She's right. They were over modulated. I gotta show you these. Crazy.
Wow.
I'm just going to go to the end of this. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, G Canada, Crazy Robin.
Well, G Canada just put it there. Look at that. You really did prove that. That is for the record now.
I'm not sure what's going on with Baldwin right now, but if there's a trial, I will be there tomorrow. I don't really want. I wish I could get a day to just rest my voice. It's not like I'm going to be talking the whole time, but I just want a day to chill out. I just want a day to, you know what I mean? Decompress and then get into it.
Yeah,
because it would be early in the morning with all those animals that get up so early, and I just don't want to. I'm just kidding.
Well, I've had a great time, and I'm happy everyone tuned in for our first little show. Thanks, everyone. It's been really good.
Yeah, we're just, the first show is always you're kind of working stuff out, but I have a routine now. I think it's fun. It's more freewheeling. It's longer. We get to entertain the chat a little more. We get expansive commentary. I don't believe in time constraints. I just won't do it. And I'm happy with how it's going to get a little bit. I don't care about professionalism. That's white people shit. I mean, I just want to have a good time here. And
I've never heard anyone say that.
Falcon, the winged black superhero.
God.
The Falcon, that great black superhero.
Oh my God. Do you still have my Armageddon video drop?
Yeah, I got it
custom
somewhere.
made. Give that a bang. I don't know if you've got it in the list.
It may not be like ready to go.
Yeah.
I gotta scroll down for. There it is. Here we go. I keep Frank. I gotta get rid of Frank the Tank's comment because I don't want to. It'll cover the outro.
That's what I like about you.
Where is Frank the Tank? Why? I hate. You ever you leave a comment up and you go through it and you can't figure out where you highlighted it? Yeah. Mark Everly, welcome, Mark Everly. Thank you, everyone in the chat. I mean, this is Bond did this for me. This is so humbling.
It's an Armageddon.
classic.
Little West End town on dead end road. East End Road, West End.
You Homo sapiens and your guns.
There it is. Just there. There you go. Wow, you have been doing a lot of behind the scenes stuff. I'm very impressed.
These are
I like it.
Blacks, Jews, Hispanics, whatever.
By the way, that's coming up. I should plug our Patreon too. The Deppening Wino Forever Patreon. That episode is the Richard Grieco debut, and I believe Marta wanted. She's a huge Richard Grieco fan. She's like a Grieco groupie, a group key.
Oh.
And she loves. She said she saw, God damn it, what was his movie again? Oh God, the 91. If looks could kill. If looks could kill. She said she saw it in the theater 12 times in Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico. I'm sorry, Puerto Rico. Yes. So that's coming up real soon. That's the Grieco debut, season 3, episode 1. I have 2 more episodes to do in season 2. This finale and then this shitty non-Depp episode, which is coming up next. Bon, if you want to sit in, I need all the help I can get. I know Sarah's not going to do it. I know she won't.
Yeah, I'll do it. Why not?
No Depp in it though. It's just Penn Hall and Judy going on a road trip.
Oh, they're good value. They're so
I love them
gentle,
both. I just don't, it's really tough. I know people don't care when Depp's not in it. It's just not.
Hey, John and Sarah, it's Holly Robinson Pete. How you doing?
Depp! Grieco!
I can't wait. I can't. When Dennis Miller was funny. God, Dennis, we miss you. I could almost do a Dennis Miller hate show like I could do with Howard. I think I'm very close to as knowledgeable about him and his life.
I don't know how you haven't already done that, John.
I know. I
know you're a big fan.
I was a big fan. Now I hate his guts. I really hate his guts.
I thought he was not alive too.
No, he's alive. He's just in Santa Barbara. He retreated to Santa Barbara with his immigrant wife. He's worried about the legal immigrant. And his wife's she's from England, so that doesn't count, right? If she's from England, it doesn't count as an immigrant.
Oh yeah, and it's not offensive if you add an immigrant if they're from if it's an Asian country location, then you're starting to sound a bit the R word if you say you know what I mean.
So everyone, I want to thank you for hanging with us tonight. It was a great hang. I had a lot of fun. Bon, I hope you had a lot of fun. I hope this opens you up mentally to not, I think you feel better about this and yourself and expansive dialogue, right?
Yeah, of course. I'm just a stickler for a good intro, so I just knew I had to. If I hadn't, I had to finish the intro. That's how my brain. It's the ADHD part of my brain. It just fixated on the intro, and I was like, it's not cooked yet. So I was like struggling for a few days, and then once I sorted it out, I was like, everything's okay. But I get into those mindsets where if it's not right, then I don't want to do it. I get this weird thing. It's like the stars aren't aligned or something. I go, this feels funny, and then when I crossed that bridge, everything was cool. So this was an absolute pleasure, and we had just excellent work from our beloved chatters.
Yeah, they're always the best. I mean, we're just lucky to have each and every one of them funny, insightful, knowledgeable, likable, the best chatters. And no one's fighting. Like, you don't get even Brendan there is the biggest ball buster in the world. It was pretty good energy in there actually tonight, which is great to see. You don't have to play referee but you don't know what Sarah did. She might have poked people out. Who knows? She's a fucking she is so intimidating. She runs such a tight ship. Thank you, Brendan. This rule, please keep the erratic, hard scheduling. I'll try to be more erratic, Brendan. I will. I'll try to be as unpredictable as possible. Thank you, Babe Lewis. Thank you, Melvin, Frank the Tank, Sarah, Bon. Any last words? Thank you, Tam Fran. Bon, any last words?
No, just I hope everyone has a great night, and thank you for listening to us. And I hope
I
may
know the punchline.
I may be doing a Baldwin thing in the next. I don't know if it's tomorrow. I don't know if it's the next day, but I will be. Jesus.
Howdy.